Before today's episode, I'd like to give a giant shout out to Boss. He graciously and with little notice took on the remaining editing to this podcast. I injured both of my hands, and it was taking me easily 3-4 times longer than ever to finish editing. Asked for his help, and he took it on. So thank you very much for making this content possible. I'm very happy that there are many people out there who are willing to help with making everything on this channel phenomenal. And with that, let's get on to today's episode. Hello everyone, welcome to the ProPokePodcast. My name is ProPokePodcast, and joining me once again is my co-host, Amagamma. Hello, Amagamma.
Hello, Amagamma.
No, you're Amagamma.
Wait, no, you're Amagamma.
I don't want to be you. No offense, I just don't want to be. I like being me.
My feelings.
You don't have feelings? I don't know what that's supposed to mean. I'm going to get this right this time. This is the Pro Pokeball Season 5 draft episode.
Oh boy.
Not any other podcast or show that I would do.
That's a podcast.
What is... Oh, God, don't... You know how much we've recorded so far today?
I feel you.
Yeah. For those who don't know, we have been hours in a call, hauled up in digital closeness that could be borderline uncomfortable with the amount of conversation we've had to have in a single room. You might think, well, noob, that's antisocial. It's not. It's just tiring.
We've been basically cheek to cheek for the past 6 hours.
I don't know about that one.
That's the term I'd use. Stuck in a call.
That's a saucy term there, Gamma. So today we're going to be talking about the coaches. We have all of the teams drafted, so we are going to go through a little bit of the history of the coaches that we do have history on, and then we're just going to dip right into the teams. We'll be looking at the teams. Why are you... This is a bad idea when cameras are on. I'm staring at Amagamma holding up. Is that Hellman's olive oil?
It's olive oil mayonnaise, sir. It's healthy, okay?
You know what? I found out that mayonnaise is actually what's making me sick, so I had to stop all forms of mayonnaise.
Really?
I hate that because mayonnaise is so good.
Dude, mayonnaise is amazing.
Even vegan
I have
mayonnaise.
a jar on my desk.
It seems to be that cream hurts. I think it's cream that's what's catching me off guard, so.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's a shame,
I was just saying how long it would take to notice that. Sorry, back to the topic.
You now get the background knowledge of seeing how I talk when I do recording, which is what keeps me going by just looking all over the place and just I'm always active. I'm just moving.
No, yeah.
I flow like the drafts went during this season. First of all, Gamma, just give us a quick synopsis. What now?
Great segue.
Great segue. Thank you, sir. How did you like the Season 5 draft period? Just don't dip into any detail. Just give me your viewer perspective on how did draft day look for you this season.
It looked pretty hectic to me at first, and then people started getting into the flow of it, and they started making some decent picks and some not so decent picks. To name a few, just a couple people. By the way, I'd like to preface this. I'm not personally trying to be mean to nobody. I see what I sees, and I'm like, all right, I sees that.
I would also like to preface this. I am not going to be attacking anybody, especially in a New Joysian accent. And, draft day was cool. I really enjoyed this new system. This was the first time that we've had pick order randomized every 2 picks as opposed to every 6 for a total of 12 Pokemon. And it seemed to lead to a lot of interesting decisions from coaches, and interesting being both positive and maybe more of a head scratcher. Of course, we can only speak from our own perspectives. So the way that we're going to be analyzing teams today is looking at what they picked up in terms of just power of the Pokemon versus the value of the tier, and try not to get too stuck into hindsight, but maybe giving some advice, because the trade pool is also something that we need to examine and potentially offer advice from, considering that certain teams might need a little bit of patching up. And most times, the reason why trades were put in is we want to see teams patched up a smidge. We still want to see teams picking up good Pokemon to begin with and trying to work their way through their pick order. But now that we have an ever-changing pick order on top of a leftover pool that people can trade from weekly, basically without limitations other than by tier, there's a lot of work that can be done for coaches who are looking to spice up their team life, if you will. You ready, Gamma?
It's a great way to put it. Yeah, I'm ready.
Thank you.
I'm very ready.
I am known to be good with words.
You don't say. It's like you talk for a living.
I never. I wish I talked for a living. Right now, I just
It would
talk
be
for.
perfect.
I talk for a handful of people who care enough to listen to the podcast. A quick shout out to everyone who has been listening to the ProPokePodcast. This will be put up on Google Play because I am cost effective. it's somebody wanted an audio, so I'm like, here, it'll be audio on Google Play. It'll be good quality still. Everything will be uploaded there, and you'll be able to catch up and follow it from there. I'll sure be listening to my own show because I'm like that. Anyways. Let's get into a little bit of history of the teams. Gamma will be kind of just throwing his 2 or 5 cents. Well, he'll be throwing 2 cents because he's American, but I'll be throwing my 5 cents in for the coaches that we do have more history on. But let's start with the 4 coaches that actually do not have a history in the Pro Pokeball yet. We have Sotodu21, Jillip Initiator, and Tyler Poke Trainer. Sotodu21, coach of Todd Skyrim Howard. I've been messing up a few people, so I am just going to confirm that. I got it. Okay. Sotodu21. Haven't seen anything from him yet, based on what he drafted and just not even dipping into anything. Looks to me to be a player who's going to have to show what they're going to try and do in the Pro Pokeball. He consistently mentioned memes, so I'm expecting memes. We have Jillip, a coach that has come in, coach of the Miami Milotics. Hey, I got that right. And same thing. We don't really know what he says. He's aiming for the bottom. I don't know what that means because usually people want to do well when they are in the tournament, but there's nothing wrong with just trying to be the hero of the bottom of the standings. We have Initiator, which we do have a bit of background on in terms of just random battles that myself and Gamma have seen outside of Pro Pokeball environments. And he's a decent player. He's definitely a person who he doesn't practice every single day, but he knows enough about the mechanics to be competitive. And with practice, you could see him making improvements and potentially strive for top 6. Not saying the other ones can't, but just based on knowledge, I can see him using experience to reach top 6. And Tyler Poke Trainer, coach of the Lunar Cresselias, someone who has come in on the referral of another coach. Same thing. Blank slate. Don't really know much more to say. Gamma, do you have any comments on any of these 4 coaches?
I gotta say, Inish is pretty good. I agree with you on that. He has the know-how, and I believe he has the ability to use the mechanics of Pokemon to a competitive level. I personally have not seen the others play, so I can't really say much about them. Other than that, though, I'm interested to see what they can do this season on the Pro Pokeball.
Woo! Yeah, there's not really much to this. Most of this history is going to come down to the other 7 coaches that we're going to be mentioning. One of them actually just having very, very recent memory of coming in at the end of the season to help out with. But for sure, the most that we can say is blank slates, which means expectations will be written in time with Pro Pokeball history. Let's touch on to the person that I separated between 2 bars because this person doesn't have Pro Pokeball history, but came in and has participated in the Pro Pokeball, assisting the Sock-powered Sky Sharks in Season 4. It is Sharking319, coach of the Transfer City Thunderous. Sharking is a very experienced player. He has played competitive for quite some time. He's also a fellow Nuzlocker who does YouTube content. He is an aggressive player, which really helped out Ox in Season 4. And you can even see by his draft when we talk about it later. He's a very aggressive builder with the Pokemon that he has picked up. We always do like watching an hyper aggro player in the Pro Pokeball because so far we've seen a few that have done it, but not to the greatest success, or if they have seen success, it was more of a making it just barely on the border type of success. That's not taking away from them, but Hyper Aggro is, in my opinion, I've heard people say it's one of the easiest because you just have to choose the strongest and go with it, but when you're in a draft environment, Hyper Aggro is difficult to pull off. So I'm excited to see someone who can boast a lot of prior competitive Pokemon experience take on a team such that he did to show this somewhat, a face to headboard? What is this called? A keyboard strategy.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I agree with you on that. I personally have played with Sharking a lot. He has a very solid understanding of all the mechanics in Pokemon. I consistently get my booty whooped by that guy, and I don't know, it's fun playing him. It's fun seeing what he does. It's fun with the different types of plays I've seen him go through, and I have very high expectations, especially since he helped out Ox last season with the Pro Pokeball.
Yeah, he came in for the last 3 or 4 matches, and he's also into the playoffs. And He is definitely encyclopedia when it comes to mechanics. He is one that he will not forget about certain items. He'll remember that Z crystals exist much more than I do, so that's always going to be a boost. But he is very knowledgeable. He knows what he's going to be doing. His builds will probably make sense with what he's trying to achieve, and he will be going into battles with direction. So that's as much as we can say about Shark King. In terms of success, yeah, he's got that second place that he earned with Awesome in Season 4. Other than that, we're going to be seeing him fresh for the first time in Pro Pokeball history here. Let's get into the 6 coaches that we have history on, starting with Eventual Coma. Gamma, I want to hear your thoughts about Eventual Coma in previous Pro Pokeballs.
I'm not going to lie, I don't have much knowledge of previous Pro Pokeballs.
You don't watch my content?
I do. I watched the last season.
So you know about Coma then?
I just don't remember the names. I can't put names to faces, my dude.
Okay, let me give you the teams that Eventual Coma was on. In Season 3, was he in Season 3? Was he New York Ninetales? I don't think he was New York Ninetales. I can tell you in Season 4, he was the Boston Bearticks, if I recall correctly. I really need to put the names in Challenge. I have to use more sites here. He wasn't a top 6 finisher in Season 4. I can tell you that much. I don't think he's actually Has he been in 1 or 2 Pro Pokeballs? I don't remember. I think he's only been in 1, to my knowledge. But I know that he's never been in top 6. The one thing that I make synonymous with Eventual Coma is great drafting, and then the battles kind of go a little bit in opposite direction, where we see some interesting movesets come out, and movesets that... It's not just movesets that are out there, it's movesets that would not work. I think one that really comes to mind, and I don't know if it was a mistake or perhaps misunderstanding a mechanic, but it was the Acrobatics Mega Sceptile, which obviously doesn't work because the Mega Stone does not get consumed. So there's definitely a lot to learn there for Coma, but Coma has been a resilient player, is a player who will bring out a fairly solid defensive core from what we've noticed. And one of the shortcomings for him in Season 4 was, as the defensive core got torn down, it seemed like the playstyle and the strategy also got torn down. The late game kind of looked a little weak on the side of the Boston Bearticks back when they were drafting it. So that could come down to a team composition thing and maybe a bit of less experience. But nonetheless, Coma is a player who will want to show how good they are with drafting. And I think this season... I get a different vibe from the team, but we'll talk about that later. But Coma, looking to try and be at least a top 6 contender, I would assume, in Season 5 here. The next coach, let's give you one that you know. World Leader 9000. What do you know about World Leader 9000, Gamma?
The one thing I remember is that World Leader, pretty decent coach. The one thing that pops to mind every time I hear World Leader is Thunder Punch Halucha, which is interesting. It's interesting for sure. I could see it working. It did work once in a while, if I remember correctly. And I don't know. I think that he can put together a solid team and get something going for him.
Yeah, World Leader has that enormous Thunder Punch meme because he's run Thunder Punch on Infernape, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but there was essentially a time when I think he had 5 Pokemon on one team that all had Thunder Punch on them just for coverage sake. And of course, you're going to love that because, I mean, his name back in Season 4 was Stockton Thunderous, so just truly keeping to an electrifying personality, which wasn't very shocking, and I'm going to stop the jokes right now. But World Leader, I'd also say, yep, I can't remember what he placed here. Let me just quickly check. He was actually close. He lost out by a single point trying to get into top 6. Shows that he is the top of the bottom, which is important because that does show growth and also shows just a very slight separation between your top 6 competitors and then the rest. So usually when you're in the bottom, unless you're losing something like you're just consistently losing 2-0 or things like that, there's most certainly an experience difference, but World Leader is someone who has played enough and knows enough about the game to make it work, and Season 4 draft for him was a bit, if I look at it right now, this was a bit muddled. I think he doubled down really hard on the sand strat, similar to like Dagger Drone tried to do in Season 1, but it was nowhere near the sand power that you would see in previous seasons. So went for the weather, and it didn't work out very well for him. But considering that he was able to stay afloat and actually be fairly competitive with trying to get into top 6 with a weather team that was very centralized on sand, was promising, and we're going to see what he's going to do this season because he kept to weather, but he didn't hardcore laser focus on it, which is always nice. And I think that's the way you have to play out Weather going in now, unless you're getting like the dedicated most OP Weather builds that you could possibly get. Third coach, or I guess 8th coach. I don't know what you want to call it. Gamer!
How are we doing this?
How are we doing this? Gamer5980 version 2, coach of the Sarasota Sweetcoons, returning brand, returning coach. We saw Gamer hit top 6 last season. He was actually 4th place, about an entire 2-0 behind hitting top 2. It was a very, very, very good season for Gamer. If I recall correctly, if I look at the bracket right now, he was doing really, really well in the beginning, and then over time, we saw him... Let me just find his name here. Yeah, he was smashing opponents in the beginning, getting 1-1s, getting 2-0s here and there. But once he went up against the other top 6 players, you saw that he was kind of slipping, and then came back in the later half of the season. Wow, I'm completely wrong. No, he just wasn't smashing. He looked really good in the beginning of the season, and as seasons went on, he went on against the top 3. He wasn't looking very good. In fact, I'm pretty sure a lot of coaches kind of toyed with him, almost like, a dog with meat, like just kind of whipping him around and really showing he's good, but he's not top 3 good, at least in season 4. I don't know what's going to be like now because he is training under the MAD organization.
He's got the opportunity for growth, and that's what's important.
Yes, he's most certainly, he's a coach that he's actually learning from mistakes in draft. He's learning from mistakes in battles. And do I see him being top 6 again? Absolutely. I think he will be another top 6 contender. I think he'll always be a top 6 contender unless we start pulling in champions from Smogon or VGC or whatever. But he's got enough knowledge to make things work, and he does shine above the rest of the coaches.
I can see that. And I'm looking forward to seeing how he does in the Pro Pokeball this season. Hopefully he will get that top 6, and who knows, he might even get top 3.
He's definitely got the tools to do it this time. He drafted himself a fairly tilting combination for yourself, Gamma, right? We talked about that last episode.
I was holding this off till we talked about the teams, but you know what? Oh god,
you don't have to talk about it right now.
It's Celatran, noob. He picked Celatran. He picked it, and I can't. How did he get? Who let him get this? Who did it?
Gamma.
Very upset.
It's okay.
I literally said last podcast, don't let somebody get Celatran or I quit. It's me quitting. I'm done.
Well, you don't have to break your. Oh, he's gone. Oh, he is just gone. Yep, he's toast. He actually, I can confirm, he just walked away and actually slammed his door and left his room. He is most likely going to grab a burrito or something. However, yes, Gamer was lucky enough to grab Celatran. We'll see how he can use. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. I would like to give a formal apology to Amagamma's keyboard and headphones that are most likely busted now, as well as maybe his front door.
Is it okay if I come back?
It depends. Is your contract up yet?
I signed a contract?
Yes, you did. Number 9, Ivan Valdez. That contract brings as much controversy as his next coach. Ivan Valdez 11. This is a coach that gets the most attention, and not to take away from Ivan's fame and fortune, but I don't know why people focus so hard on Ivan's skills, because it's not saying that he's bad, I'm not saying he's top 2 either, but Ivan Valdez is a very good player who, yes, has had some bumps, was a Season 2 champion, way back in the day of 2017, I think. But he did get second place in Season 2, end up becoming the champion after our favored people, Boys of the Forest, hosted by Sweet D, was kicked out in an unfortunate 3-2 match in the end of the semifinals to Danman, back when the Picton Pidgeots took him out there. And then after that, Season 3 comes around, suddenly W. Wellington's at a 4th place seed, and then we have Season 4 roll around, and he's second place again. He's all over the place. People will tell you that he is just really good at smashing people 2-0 and just takes as many points as he can. People will tell you that he builds really memey stuff that doesn't work, but it does work half the time. He's inconsistent. He's consistent. He's scary. He's not scary. He's overhyped. He's underhyped. I don't know. People go all over the place when it comes to talking about Ivan. I don't know what your opinion is, Gamma. I think Ivan is a good player, and he's a very good player, but a very predictable player when it comes to standard plays. When it comes to him mixing stuff up, it has bit him in the butt, and I think it's also kind of taken away a little bit of confidence that he'd usually have with these types of picks.
Well, all right. So here's the thing. Seeing as he is a previous Pro Pokeball champion, one of the 3 that are in this competition, if I remember correctly, I think it's going to be hard to read him, how he's going to do. Seeing as to how he has fallen in the past, but I feel like he's going to get up there again and jump back on that throne possibly. You never know.
And people discredit the season 2 because they're like, oh, look at his team. And I mean, and oh, yeah, Sweet D should have kicked him out. And it's true, right? But I mean, Pokemon is Pokemon. Anyone can win. That's not, again, to take away from... That sounds like I'm taking away from Ivan. But here's the thing. Ivan's a person who finds those weird builds that work half the time, right? Where usually people will tell you it's never worked, just play standard. When push comes to shove, stuff like that works. And if he makes it work, cool. If it doesn't work, he's not afraid to bring it out, and that's what I think I like the most about Ivan's compositions and his approach to Pro Pokeball drafting and playing is he will bring stuff and he'll make it work, but he'll also just accept when he loses, right? It's not I'm going to keep forcing the same build because I love this Power Herb set or I love this Acrobatic set or this type of thing, right? He will legitimately try and put thought into stuff that he does when it comes to his builds. And you will get wins off of people, right? Even getting 1-1s is more important than giving 3 points to an opponent, right? Points are extremely important from the very beginning. You are ranked by points. A 2-0 is 3 points. A 1-1 is 1 point to both of you. So to even just eke out a point is important. And when you go to the playoffs, that's when you can prove that you can play standard. And that's where we generally see Ivan as of late just not necessarily holding his own in the playoffs. It was like, yeah, he had to play more standard because his sets were set in stone. He can't change opponent to opponent. He has to bring the one set. And of course, when you don't have something that clearly is as strong as his Tornadus T team back in season 2, yeah, you're going to see a lot more cracks in the armor. But there's so much, I find it really funny when people are comparing themselves to Ivan, and then you just see every coach and every player come out and go, he sucks, or he's great, and it's just, he's that villain. I don't know, he's just that misunderstood child sitting in a box. You just put him in the middle of a street, and you're just like, who are you? That's how I feel Ivan is. I don't know. He's most certainly a name depressed. That is, what's that?
Now I'm just depressed that analogies. It's just... It's a little kid in a box in an alleyway holding up a sign, please take me home. I need a home.
Give me identity. It's like the attack curse on anything but a ghost type. I have no identity. No, Ivan, as much as I say that, Ivan is most certainly a name that will be with Pro Pokeball for a long time. As long as he keeps playing, or as long as people keep comparing to movesets and stuff like that and just looking at his past, and he's been in, I think, every single Pro Pokeball minus the celebrity. He was in season 1. Yeah, I think he's been in every single one. So, like, he's a veteran of Pro Pokeball, and he's seen the changes. He's seen everything that go on and stuff like that. And like, really, can you say anything against that? And now we should start talking about more recent, I suppose, even though he's a Celebrity Edition champion. I don't really mention Celebrity Edition anymore. Sorry, Sweet D. But we're going to talk about Sweet D, coach of I Am Groot, featuring a bunch of numbers in his name, which, you know the saying about numbers in the name. Lead speak. But he is an elite player. He has been playing for a very long time. Him and I did PokeTubing days way back in the days of like 2011. He started, I think, a little bit earlier than me, too. That's how I met the coach of Fortnite Ninjas, and wow, I Am Groot, as well as Lord Scrubberton, if he was in this tournament. But Sweet D, extremely experienced player. He is a Celebrity Edition champion back when we ran that little 6-man tournament for the people that I handpicked to go into the tournament and just kind of show a higher level of play, people who are basically had the years under their belt. And he has done very well every time he's been in a Pro Pokeball. He took a break in season 4. He took a break in 4. He was in season 2 and 3, and we do see him winning Celebrity Edition. His matches are very much balanced style. He is very much a balanced player. He's close. He's kind of close to the strategy that I do. I realize when I compare myself to Sweet D's strategies, I'm a little more of a balanced player than he is. He's much more of a defensive player. And not stall-based, though. He just knows how to pivot his defensive course well to then get his 1 or 2 sweepers in. But it's not even like... He's not so much of a Dragon Dance... he's not so much of a Dragon Dance, Quiver Dance type of setter-upper. He's more of a Swords Dance. Sorry, not Swords Dance. He's more of a bulk-up, calm mind player from what I've seen what he succeeds with, thinking back to I think he had the Latios in Season 3 when he was up against Arizona Articunos in the finals. And he likes his bulky offense. He's very much a person who just knows matchups, can read players well in advance, and just takes the hits, knows how to switch it out, builds himself a good core all the time, and then goes in and makes good work of it. So
that's a great thing to see, especially for him. It's a great thing to see, especially with the team that he got this time around.
Exactly. He's yeah, when we talk about his team, how did he get his team?
Who let him have this?
Who let him have what he has? Anyways. Yeah, definitely expecting a lot to come out of here from Sweet Tea. In my opinion, the person who won draft for their compared to their style, I think he is the one who won the strongest draft based on his pick order and based on everything that he had to go with. So, but we have one more coach to talk about. This is our most current champion, Season 4 champion, Mr. Mitchie W., coach of the Fortnite Ninjas. Don't worry about the name, worry about the player. He is also very, very experienced player. He actually took on a team for a former coach back in Season 2 and brought that team from last to top 6. He actually made himself into 6th place just barely with the amount of time that he had in the season and with the team that he had to deal with. He's very knowledgeable about the game as well. He's more of an aggressive player, as you saw back in Season 4. The Sharpedo Beedrill, just being able to pair around with the Celatran core, but also just making use of a Fire, Water, Grass core, and knows very well how to keep an offensive pivot and always keep the opponents on their toes. He does not believe at all in just building random movesets in. Like, if it works, it works. He'll just pick the right moves for the right situation, go from there, and just play it out standard. He definitely relies on the most standard play that he possibly can to then convert that into wins. You know, you don't need to be, like, sometimes I'll look at coaches and go, yeah, the reason why they are cheesy is cheesy gets them that breezy point. But for Mitch, he's got enough information and knowledge that he doesn't need to do it. He can read the team out. He builds well enough. He'll make the trades that he needs to make. There's a reason that he is a champion, and a very convincing champion, arguably from draft in Season 4.
I honestly, there's not much I can add to that. I agree. He's a great player, and I feel like he's definitely going to make top 3.
Yeah, I do. He is, no matter where he is, I always see him as a top 3 player. As a top 2 player, even, because the first 2 seeds are the most important. He will always be vying for that if he starts from the beginning with his own team. And generally speaking, when he participates, people look at him and he talks big, but at the same time, it's like he talks big because he knows big. Knows big? He got big brain. Yes, I don't know where to go with that.
Big brain plays. Let's go.
Big. But is he Galaxy Brain Plays? No, that's Ivan. Ivan's Galaxy Brain Plays. That, you know, the one of the most iconic finishers was that Chlorophyll Tangrowth with Ancient Power to counter that Mega Charizard Y team. That was the greatest thing I think we've seen. That and Haze Zygarde, but that was one of the most memorable moments for any Pro Pokeball battle because of how much it actually just caught him off guard and just got the cheese win on Danman back in Season 2. That was really funny. Yeah, so those are our 11 coaches. Just a little bit of a backstory to them. Obviously, you could tell the more that we went on, the more knowledge there is, but we try our best. Now we have a lot more records with how it looks for their history, so if I get any other history wrong, you guys remember it well because, you know, I'm there for the experience. I'm always wrapped up in the actual play with the audience and everything like that. When it comes to the numbers, the coaches remember much better than I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's easier to remember when you're the one playing.
Yeah, that's if I was just a color caster, I'd be more of the play-by-play. But if I had a color caster, hey Gamma, why don't you make color caster? Then, you know, I'd be remembering a lot.
I like colors.
No, oh god, you can't be the color caster. If you think that's what that is, just start riddling off the color wheel to me.
You know what I mean? I would have done it.
Do you actually know what color casting is?
Yes.
What is it?
It is not the play-by-play. It is the caster who just reacts to what's going on, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's play-by-play. The color caster's just a knowledgeable one.
Oh, yeah, I'm super not knowledgeable. I can't make that. See, I barely know what a color caster is. I thought it was some kind of, like, crown brand or something like that.
To be fair, I thought color casting was the play-by-play person because you gave color to the game. So I thought like you gave emphasis and stuff like that. But no, color casters gives the knowledge, whereas the play-by-play says what's going on. Still looking for that more knowledgeable person to work with, though.
Yeah, it's definitely not me. I love Pokemon, and I try to keep up with the metas and all that nowadays because of the VGC stuff going on, but doesn't translate too well over to solo play.
So then tell me this. Why are you my co-caster for the ProPokePodcast where we're analyzing things?
Because I like to learn and look at things and assume what could be the reason behind somebody doing something.
No, God, I pulled you onto this for the wrong reason. Oops.
Oh no!
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
fired, aren't I? I'll just leave.
You already quit, so I mean, like, what more do you want me to say?
I don't even know why I'm here anymore.
You're the guy. Well, you basically pulled who? Oh, what famous person was that? Where they? Oh, it was Larry King. Larry King? Seinfeld, where he just quit and then he came back like nothing had happened.
You mean Jerry Seinfeld?
No, Larry David. Larry David. There we go. Not Larry King. Larry David.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he basically, like, there was an episode where George quits his job but then goes back as if nothing happened. He apparently did that. That's why there was an episode on that. Gamma,
Yeah.
let's start talking about teams. Are you ready?
Oh boy, am I ready.
I am going to put an iPad on my head for this one. Ow.
That's an iPad? It looks like a speak and spell. It's just this red flat thing that looks like exactly like a speak and spell, just without the yellow buttons.
I mean, this does get put into this. This is a school one, so
What the heck?
yeah, it's just a nice. It's actually a
it's
cool little
even-
holder, so it can stand up like this. Well, don't use it, or if you do, rent it out and pay me the money. Anyways, let's get into this. So the way we're gonna talk about this, we're gonna try and keep as much information to just what we see and based on pick order, based on statistics, power levels of the Pokemon and stuff like that. We don't know the actual reasons why the coaches would pick things up, although we could theorize based on the patterns that we saw with drafting and with the Pokemon that were available, why certain things might have been picked up over others. We're going to be reviewing the pick order. We're going to be reviewing the Pokemon and the bans that had happened, as well as what's left over in the trade pool, and maybe offer up some advice on what could improve a team or what you're surprised that didn't make it in. So let's start with that, Gamma. What are you surprised with in the trade pool, which I just sent you? What are you surprised with Pokemon-wise that you didn't think would end up in the leftovers?
Well, I'm not gonna steal the one that you keep saying. I'm gonna let you say that one. But if I had to choose, I'm actually surprised nobody picked up Houndoom after the last season.
Okay.
Because it showed the work that it could put in. Houndoom and Kingdra is another one I'm actually surprised I don't see being picked up by any of the coaches. There's always the chance for trade, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking is... So a couple of patterns that happened with a lot of teams. There were already a lot of fire types that were picked up, although, similar to Houndoom, Entei was also a viable fire Pokemon to pick up. But notice that there are a lot of bulky water types, so things like Houndoom might not actually get the most value considering that there are a lot of water ground types, so dual stab on that, but also like Mega Houndoom can run HP Grass and handle that well, but I think the funny thing is there's a lot of water ground but not a lot of electric, so water ground just gets you like incredible value regardless, no matter what it's against, but the electric are going to be even struggling a little bit more with having to carry hidden power or just rely on another Pokemon for that. But there were some powerful grass types picked up, and I feel like to an extent something like Houndoom, there were better megas that'll just do different things for teams, but Houndoom is very powerful. We did see it. We do have a team that actually, no, there was no team that picked up Sun because Ninetales is in this draft, which I'm also surprised with for a particular coach, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, for me, I'm very surprised with. I mean, I'm a big fan of Durant. It's tough for me to drop that. I understand the Node to Blade pickup because there were a lot of strong knockoff users that were picked up, so I don't expect that thing to get value ever in this tournament per se. It just from what I was seeing people picking up and looking at the meta, it's actually a fairly bulk. Like half of them have really bulky teams, and half of them have really good setup for hazards, but also a lot of hazard denial. So we're kind of looking at. I think the powerhouse comes out on top, but might come down to the experience with those powerhouses as well. Anything else that you see, Gamma, particularly maybe in the lower tiers? You can still talk about the higher ones, but...
No, yeah, I'm actually looking at the lower tier, and I'm not... You know what? I'm actually surprised. Okay, I'm going to ask this off the record.
Yeah?
Kangaskhan Mega's banned, right?
Banned.
Yeah, that's why. Okay.
Does have Scrappy, though.
Yeah, true, but... I do see Cinccino in there, and Cinccino is actually a pretty decent skill-link Pokemon, and it's got a lot of versatility with it as well.
Yes.
So I'm actually pretty surprised nobody's picked it up. I would like to see somebody swap out for it maybe eventually.
I'm very disappointed that Cinccino was not picked up, considering that the one thing that would handle a lot of the defensive cores is Bullet Seed. 5 hits Bullet Seed, every single Pokemon's getting one shot. And the fact that it's also a very fast U-turn user. It doesn't matter if it's unidirectional with Choice Band or King's Rock or whatever. I saw Cinccino drop to PU before we did the drafting, and I'm sitting there going, oh my god, this is, considering the power in Pool 2 of all things, that is such an enormous pairing that somebody could pick up in the first couple of rotations. Because, I believe it was Pool 2's thing that it came out of, but Pool 2 PU was quite weak, and Cinccino's in there, I'm going, really? I'm astounded. The thing was in NURU, that was tough to argue to an extent. It was still good, but that was tough to argue. And it's in PU, I'm going, well, even if you don't think it's great, it's in PU, and it's got access to really good, like, it's got Rock Blast, it's got Tail Slap, Bullet Seed, U-Turn. It can do a couple other things, like if it wanted to be a knockoff user. Like, there's a lot going for it for the value that you're getting it for. I do expect this thing to be traded for. I really want to see this thing traded for. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe obviously there's better, but if people start suffering and they see some of their dead picks are dead, I think Cinccino can be easily scooped up.
Oh yeah. Honestly, actually, another thing, like you brought up, Ninetales would be perfect for a certain person's team that I'm not going to say until that team comes up at least.
Yeah, Weather was pushed just based on the way that the picks were made. I think the people that picked up Weather did it correctly, where they weren't hyper-focusing on it, because I don't think hyper-focusing Weather is going to be good enough in this draft tournament anymore.
Oh yeah, especially if you lose the Pokemon that you need for that Weather.
It's not even that, there's so much more value you get versus grabbing a Weather team. The Weather team is fairly predictable. Weather's been nerfed since Gen 6, so to make it work, you have to be super good with your Weather user, and most of them are fairly average when it comes to a mixed OU thing, right? You might not see it and might be like, yeah, Pelipper's OU. It doesn't mean it's bad. Like, obviously, you pair that up with the old pairing of Pelipper Steelix. That was an old pairing that would exist down like NU back before Drizzle existed. But by itself, without using it with the Weather, it's just like, well, this is a really weak pickup. So now you have to build around it. And once you start building around it, you're using up slots where you could be grabbing more valuable Pokemon that could just do more outside of rain. You know what I mean? So I think that the players that did pick up Weather this season did a very good job with picking up the right amount of pokes, right amount of support for it, and it'll be an option rather than a win condition.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, and on top of that, I do believe there's enough Weather support left in the trade pool that can give people the option to use that stuff later if they really wanted to. So Kingdra existing, for example, if our Rain user wanted to switch it up or just grab it onto the team and go from there. Although I do want to talk about Ludicolo later because that was the right call. You have Ninetales in there if you want to do any type of anti-weather and just have that as an option. Again, you could do Ninetales with Houndoom because solar power on Mega Houndoom is really awesome. And yeah, like you have some other options that are a little bit less so, but they're there and it's accessible if needed.
I just saw Sharpedo's in there too. That's surprising.
Yeah, there's a couple of Megas in here. I suspect that Beedrill and Sharpedo, which were champions, but they were on a specific team that would make it work. So I'm not surprised they're actually not picked up. Sharpedo, if you can't get hazards up and keep them there, a lot of people do have defoggers or spinners on their team, no matter how strong or weak they are. So I don't expect that hazard kind of destruction type of thing to work this time as much, unless people are just playing it poorly. And obviously you're going to have people that will exploit it and take the words right out of my mouth. But I think there's enough argument to say that these types of super glass cannon sweepers were not in the wheelhouse for a lot of coaches here. They had a lot of different things in mind.
It's understandable.
As strong as it looks, like another one, like ARCEUS is there, and it's tough to think that ARCEUS might have actually been maybe an afterthought you have to go for because there's like think about it this way: if you see stuff like ARCEUS that's gets stuck in the back, when I think it's a phenomenal Pokemon, I don't care if it gets destroyed by fairies. Everything gets destroyed by fairies. But if you think that ARCEUS is left over, you know that there were a lot of things that were picked up that were valued over ARCEUS, which is a big deal to me because ARCEUS is a really good Pokemon that can handle its own and do a fair amount for itself. So
it can protect itself too.
I'm sorry?
It can protect itself too. It's got Poison Jab. It can almost one-shot a decent amount of the fairy Pokemon that would be pretty strong against it.
Absolutely.
It's got that great coverage.
Yeah, it's a weird it's a weird thought, and again, we can only assume that what coaches went for was for a reason, and we're gonna have to see how it plays out. Obviously, trades weekly can happen, and they can trade up a UU for a UU or lower, and as long as they keep the trades equal tier or lower tier, then they can go from there. I don't expect Azumarill to be scooped up unless something is really not working out for somebody. Although Azumarill, I still think offers maybe a value to a couple of teams if they do want to use it, and Choice Band Aqua Jet is kind of hard to ignore sometimes. We'll see. I'm excited to see what these coaches are going to do, and I think we should take the time to now go into talking about the coaches. Starting, we're going to go alphabetical, Gamma. So we're going to start with I Am Groot.
All right.
Okay, so let's conceptualize this by talking about the pick orders first. So what you're going to hear are the pick orders every 2 picks. So first and second pick, then third and fourth pick. So the numbers I'm going to give you is the placement that they had out of 11, where we'll rank them based on, I generally say the first 3 or the last 3 picks get the most value because they can either respond the best with a double pick around a bend, or obviously they get to scoop up the first really good picks in the very first pool and go from there, especially in pick 7 and 8 of the second pool as well. So here's I Am Groot's pick order. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
7th, third, good. 6th, the worst. 5th, 6th, the worst. 10th, good. Now let's take a look at his team. His team: Suicune, Gastrodon, Blissey, Honchkrow, Hippowdon, Tauros, Serperior, Lycanroc, Terrakion, Mandibuzz, Crobat, Ribombi. This man got a steal. Got a steal with what he needs to succeed. Like I said, he's a defensive player, and the man first picked Suicune in 7th pick.
I can't believe he got this many good picks. Like, it's literally baffling to me.
Like, on his 5th and 6th rotation, let's just conceptualize it, right? Hippowdon Tauros, you wouldn't really think much about it. Terrakion Mandibuzz in Pool 2, though. Terrakion Mandibuzz. He got, like, again, hindsight, right? Hindsight, and we don't know what's going through the other coaches' heads, but it's just like, you think about, usually people complain that they're going to try and pick something up. That's how much power was available for these coaches when you can walk away with a really good defensive Pokemon and a really good offensive Pokemon being stuck in the middle and having to pick that way. Like, that's surprising to me. And even then, when he was 3rd and 10th pick, those are kind of like the most of the good. And he's getting Blissey Honchkrow, which is fairly average for him. And then the 11th, 12th pick, Crobat Ribombi. When you thought that they were running out of options, he's got really 2 good pivots. So his team is extremely good for him. Hippowdon, Lycanroc, synergy flowing out from there. That's the pseudo sand that we were speaking to before about the good use of weather. What do you think of this team, Gamma?
Well, if I look at my notes, I'm just gonna
Please bring out your notes and pop up your glasses.
Got my paper right here. Just kind of adjust my glasses real quick.
Every single person needed to hear that.
Yes. So what I wrote down in my notes, I'm just gonna read it verbatim.
Oh boy.
Sweet D got some really solid drafts, specifically Serperior, with the amount of Pokemon weak to grass that were drafted. Crobat being a solid Tailwind setup / decent poison type Pokemon, as well as the rest of his picks are really nothing to scoff at. I can see him going the route of half tank, half beef on his team.
What a way to put it.
That is my notes.
Half
that
tank,
is the terminology.
What is half tank, half beef? What is that? How do you actually conceptualize that?
All right, so half tank is picking some Pokemon that can take a bunch of hits as well as heal themselves from those hits. And then beef is the term I like to use for very strong hitting Pokemon that can set up pretty well.
When most people would call them glass cannons, he calls them beef.
Yes, that is the term that I like to use.
The glassiest of beef.
Yes, the
Gamma never
literally see-through beef.
Just what? Oh, interesting.
Thanks, I won't.
Just polishing it up with some like thinner.
No, but yeah, like I said, honestly, he has a solid setup team. He has the option to drop that Superior at any point, get that Leaf Storm off, get the damage up, and basically one-shot most of the other opponent's team.
Yeah, he's got Superior Terrakion, which in my head combo very, very well, cover each other's weaknesses. His defensive core of Suicune or Gastrodon mixed with Mandibuzz and Hippowdon is gross. I could see Suicune, Hippowdon, Mandibuzz, because think about it, Mandibuzz is overcoast, so it won't take damage from the sand. Suicune's going to be running leftover, so it's not going to be taking any damage, and Hippowdon sets up the rocks. Like, think how freaking gross that is! It's a literal synergizing defensive core, right? And if he needs that coverage for the Water Absorb, he's got Gastrodon to mix up with his Hippowdon if he really wanted to, but if he's too weak to Grass, then he can go over to Crobat. Like, there's so much pivot. There's so much pivot with his defensive options, and that's what makes Sweet D such an experienced player. He'll know how to use these Pokemon at the right time and make that work. So this terrifies me. He's even got the Blissey to take on very certain teams that rely on special sweepers, right? Because then he can mix it up with Pokemon that will be able to take the physical hits like Mandibuzz and Hippowdon. So, it's... Oh, man, it's going to be a tough team to break, because if he even goes just 4 defensive pokes, one of them in Suicune can be defensive and still set up Calm Minds and sweep with a mono attack if he's not worrying about Water Absorb, and most Water Absorbs are going to get destroyed by Serperior. So if he pivots around that using Crobat as a U-turner, I think Mandibuzz also gets a U-turn.
I gotta say, dropping a Tailwind would be pretty good, especially with Serperior, because it can hit that first shot 100% of the time.
Yeah, I don't know if it'd actually have to hit the first shot, but you're right. Honchkrow does give a lot of that support. I haven't even talked about Honchkrow with having that Tailwind or just Moxie support with priority and just having the really powerful Brave Birds, which is what we were looking to the teams to see if there were going to be a lot of flying types to take on these grass water things. And the answer is, yeah, he's got Honchkrow, one of the better ones in my opinion, because it's just got good dual coverage. It's got that really strong knockoff, which we were mentioning before, on top of the Brave Bird. I think he's going to be sitting okay. He's got a lot of bases covered. I can't think of a single type off the top of my head that's going to sit in here and be able to tank everything on a team. I don't see him getting walled by anything, right? So, yeah. Not even a strategy that will wall him. He's not one to be set up on either. If he needs to... He's got Whirlwind on the Mandibuzz, so he doesn't get set up very well on... He's got Galarian Superior if he wants to do that sort of thing. So he's got a fair amount. It's scary. The Tauros pickup at the end of Pool 1 was strange to me, but I think it's also because he just wanted to either take away a strong normal type option or just didn't really care. He's just kind of finishing off for the sake of finishing it. I'd have to I'd have to see more into it to understand what's going on with that pick. But otherwise, yeesh. Winner.
It's a scary team. It's a very scary.
Very, very scary team. Very terrifying. Okay. Like we said, we're just going to be going through these relatively at a certain
pace.
On a certain unprofessional and very basic level. But we still offer great insight for those who don't know what's going on.
We try.
Gamma?
Yes.
I invite you to please hold all of your attack dogs back. It is time for the Golden State Greninjas.
Oh my goodness. Golden State Greninjas. Alrighty then.
Let's not put things into people's heads the moment we both just freak out and say, what the hell? But let's talk about this first. Let's look over the pick order that he had, and then we'll look at the team, and then we're going to take it in the most mature way possible, okay? Golden State Greninja's pick order was 9th, 2nd, 9th. Second pool comes around 10th, 3rd, 9th. Nothing overly phenomenal, but always in a good position in my opinion, even if it was the most of the good positions. His team: Venusaur, Bibarel, Empoleon, Flygon, Pelipper, Ludicolo, Cloyster, Infernape, Gliscor, Drampa, Aerodactyl, Ambipom. Go, Gamma. I'm hiding.
Alright, let me just get my notes here. Alrighty. World leader. In my humble opinion, World Leader got some amazing picks with his Venusaur, Infernape, and some semblance of a rain team. Very strong Pokemon. Seeing that he banned Mega Swampert is a good play, in my opinion, because I feel that if he has the option for a rain team and somebody were to get that Mega Swampert, it would have been over for him. So I can see him dropping a rain team or some other weather, maybe picking up that Ninetales and getting that Chlorophyll on a Venusaur, but only the future will tell. Back to you, Noob.
This team tilts me. This team tilts me, man. It's nothing bad. The thing that I'm the most worried about is he's got Mega Venusaur as his start, right? And you're sitting there going, oh my god, he's got Venusaur and Polion. Like, that's really hard to get through. Really, really hard to break, right? Then he pairs it up with the Gliscor. I'm like, okay, kind of odd because he's still got to worry about a little bit of ice, but then he pulls in the Pelipper. I'm like, okay, it's not going to stop the ice, and he pulls in, oh, man, dude, the ice weakness on this team is nuts! Venusaur's weak, Flygon's weak, Gliscor's weak, Drampa's weak, Aerodactyl's weak, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as time went on, especially in Pool 2, being the powerful one, let's just talk about his Pool 2 picks. Cloyster, Infernape, Gliscor, Drampa, Aerodactyl, Ambipom. I honestly think those last 3 picks were very, very, very weak compared to the 3rd pick that he had for pick 10, and then the 9th pick he could have had with the double. I am a bit confused when you take a Venusaur and you don't take Ninetales to offer yourself the Sun Synergy, or the Sunergy as I call it. When you pick up Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl's Suicide Lead is cool, but he's got Empoleon. So what's Mega Aerodactyl or Aerodactyl going to do for you, right? And I definitely do like the Ludicolo over the Kingdra pick here, mainly because, one, he had to do that, but also I think the Grass is going to offer more against the walls than Kingdra will at this time. I also think he has room to pick up Kingdra just in case he wants to get those powerful Dracos dropping with Swift Swim. I don't care if Sniper's been nerfed. I don't care if the whole build that he used to go with Focus Energy was nerfed with the Scope Lens. What I care about is the fact that it could still be a good offer, and he couldn't pick up Kingdra until later anyways. But I just found that some of these picks were kind of just all over the place. I don't find great synergy with this. Maybe it is a weather team because Drampa can use Thunder. Infernape in a rain team is kind of just sucks because Flare Blitz you always want as an option. You'll have to play around rain really well, and I don't know if World Leader will do that per se, and that's not to take away, but I'm just, like, based on what I've seen in the past, when he's focused on weather, it hasn't looked great. He looked much better when he played outside of the weather, which was the second half, I believe, of Season 4. Where he started looking a lot more confident when he just dropped the whole Sand Core. It's like, oh yeah, I just have good Pokemon. So, if I was to take 6 Pokemon off his team and build a team just out of this, Venusaur and Empoleon, I go Flygon, Infernape, Gliscor, and then maybe Drampa? That'd be my team. Maybe a little bit Ice Weak there, but, like, that's the thing. I kind of have difficulty seeing, like, Gamba, what direction do you see with this type of draft? What is the goal? Is this to clean up in the trading phase, or is there something that I'm missing here?
Honestly, I think you're missing something, because I don't see this ice weakness that you're talking about, honestly. Mega Venusaur is thick fat, so it doesn't take the damage from ice moves.
Well, it still does, just halved.
Yeah, it's halved. It's not taking it as bad as it would. Plus, like you said, literally that core team would be amazing together, I think, personally. But then again, personal opinions. We'll have to see how it plays out, how World Leader takes this team and morphs it together. Maybe he will fill it out with the trades. Maybe he has what he needs. We don't know.
Like, I agree. His defensive core is amazing, right? I like the Gliscor and Empoleon Venusaur because, yes, I know it has thick fat. It's just kind of, it's like, when I look at the ice type users, if he was to go against something like the Mamoswine, or if he was just goes against anything that's using ice moves, I don't see this defensive core fighting back. So they're gonna do damage. Like, Mega Venusaur hurts with Sludge Bomb and Giga Drain. Gliscor hurts with Earthquake. Empoleon's got Scald, yes, but they're just really obnoxious, and that's cool. But what's his win condition? Is it Cloyster? Is it what is he going to win with? Is it Bibarel with Simple? I feel like he's got the rain with it, but he's also got good value. But it feels fragmented to me, I guess. He's got the defensive core, but I don't feel the offense is as clean as I would expect, because maybe I just need to see it played out. It's not bad. I'm missing the point of what he went for.
Personally, I think you should. I think it'll make more sense when it's in play.
Yeah, in
my opinion,
that's most likely what's going to happen at this point, because it doesn't mean that, like, Gliscor can go Swords Dance. Cloyster, obviously, Shell Smash could all set up spikes. So there's a lot of options. I would say this is the team where something like Ambipom scratches my head when Cinccino was available for pickup, but Ambipom does offer that Technician Fake Out, so maybe he's just looking for a couple of Fake Out users between Infernape and Ambipom. So again, it's like you need to know what the Golden State Greninjas were thinking in order to understand this. To me, it feels like with the pick order that he had on the rotations that he could have picked up something, I think he did a great job with picking up the Empoleon. And then on his third rotation, I don't think he used Gliscor, but then Drampa was a bit odd to me. I maybe wanted to see something a little more reliably aggressive, but I don't remember exactly what Pokemon were at the pool at the time, so I'd have to go back to the videos and guess what I didn't do. But I don't know. It's just, it feels, it needs viewership. You're right. I need to see this team in action because I don't know what.
I think that's the case. Like I said, personally, I think this is a good team. So
I think it is
not,
too.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not super pro, like know everything that's going on kind of guy, but I do feel that I could see this team holding its own and maybe even getting top 4.
It's much better. Well, top 4 in draft wise, maybe. I could definitely see him doing better from the beginning with this type of non-focus on weather. And like we said, he has options later on if you really want to grab Ninetales and turn Venusaur into a sweeper. He can do that. There's nothing holding him back against that if you really want to switch to Ninetales and gives him another fire type on top of Infernape if he needs options. I don't think he does, but yeah, it's good. I'm skeptical. That's all. It's going to be a better look from him for the beginning as long as he's going to be able to pull it off, because that's also going to be with another team I'm going to talk about later where I'm kind of on the fence of this looks really good on paper, but will that actually be what we're going to see? You know what I mean?
I understand.
Team number 3. Why did I use that hand? Team number 3. Ice Cold. Team Initiator. Team Initiator?
Ooh.
Team Inish.
Ooh.
This is a Trick Room team. This is a straight Trick Room team. And let's look over the statistics first. So the pick orders for Ice Cold was 6th pick for the first time, which sucks. 4 is First pick on rotation 5 and 6. 11th on 7 and 8. So decent control near the end of the beginning of a pool. First pick again at the beginning of that super strong pool 2. And then 6th pick. So either generally in a really good spot or in a really, really spot. The team is made up of Ferrothorn, Dusknoir, Slowbro, Mesprit, Crawdaunt, Garbodor, Mawile, Crabominable, Mimikyu, Kamala, Kyurem, Yanmega. Go Gamma.
Alright, let me just get those notes real quick. Basically, first off, I'm baffled that somebody took me up on that bet. Second off, I think he has some decent lower tier Pokemon along with, like you said, some semblance of a Trick Room team, which he's probably going to go for.
Some semblance?
Alright, okay, a decent semblance is I guess is the term I should be using. This is the Trick Room team, probably.
This is a Trick Room team.
I hope he can pull it off. I hope he can pull it off and make some decent plays with it. I think he has the ability to do that, and I look forward to seeing what he can do.
Yeah, we saw a Trick Room team back in Season 4 with the Okeechobee Tauros, and this one, to me, actually feels well built. He has Pokemon that can work, so the way that you want to, in my opinion, when it comes to Trick Room in singles, obviously Trick Room's a lot easier to use in doubles because you can make more combos to get more value out of it because you have double the Pokemon mostly benefiting from hindering your opponent while taking your own initiative and getting stuff done, right? In singles, what you really need are Trick Room users that can do things by themselves while supporting the team, right? So you can either drop a Trick Room, get destroyed as a result, and then give it to another Pokemon to use for 3 turns. Or you could drop a Trick Room and actually make use of it to take advantage with that particular Pokemon. So Slowbro could do that. Mesprit could theoretically do that. It's a little fast for it, but it could still do it. Excuse me, in certain situations. I believe Dusknoir also learns Trick Room. And this is a Pokemon that's more of a bruiser, like more of that tank that you were talking about, where it kind of just takes the hits and delivers them back. But I don't know if Mimikyu actually gets it. But he's got a lot of slow Pokemon. Crawdaunt, I think, in my opinion, is one of the best Trick Room users that he could have picked up. Like, not a Trick Room setter, but a Trick Room user, because it's dual stab mixed with adaptability. Is what we saw off of Project's team last season, and it was killing people. It was destroying them because it's so hard to take a hit from something that's really slow, base 55 speed. That's really slow when you drop its speed, and people don't have teams around that because they were very aggressive teams back in Season 4. And it feels similar here. He's got a very slow team. Some of the slowest Pokemon that he could have asked for, like Mawile, Mimikyu, Crabominable. He's the Slowbro. Obviously, Dusknoir is very slow too. Ferrothorn even. There's a lot of things that will actually thrive in Trick Room. And he has Pokemon that will abuse it if he wants to go with it. And on top of that, if he doesn't go Trick Room, Slowbro's still good. Mespert's still good. It wasn't like Cresselia where it can kind of just get easily predicted and destroyed. Slowbro can whip out whatever it wants to whip out, what makes it good. It could become Mega if it wanted to and bring out that shell armor. Mimikyu can set up on its own. Maiwala can do its own thing once it becomes a really strong Mega. There's a fair amount that reigns supreme on this team. I think this is the way you build a Trick Room team. Unfortunately, lost things like Reuniclus. Kufagrigus is not on his team. There would have been some better pickups from there, but he didn't just get his hands on it. But the thing that really impresses me at the end of this draft is he went Kyurem Yanmega, which is, I think, a mistake that a lot of people make by not picking up Pokemon that are good outside of Trick Room. Because you'll see him go all in and not have any speed. Now, granted, you're looking at 2 base 95 speed Pokemon. One's got speed boost, the other one's good as Scarf, I guess. And I think Kamal is actually slow as well. But the point being, he's got a couple of faster options. Even Mesprit can do well as a Scarfer, just base 80 nonetheless. So, it's Trick Room. It's tough to call Trick Room top of the table because you have to play it superbly. However, I think he's got some good Pokemon to do it with, and now it'll just come down to execution. And he might be able to trade for certain things later if he wants to improve some of his things, maybe. Does he have a Fire type on his team? He doesn't have a Fire type. I think this is a team that could switch out something like Kyurem for Entei potentially, just to get some more super massive pressure and more priority on the team, or something of the sort. I think with trades, this is actually a very solid draft.
I want to check something real quick, but I think Mawile gets Fire moves.
It does get Fire Fang.
Yeah, Fire Fang, that's what I'm thinking of.
I'm saying in terms of if you want a really powerful hit, or just another Pokemon that can do... Because Kyurem, his typing is really... It's good offensively, and at least he has a Dragon and an Ice move that's good on him. I just fear, because you have to also rely on Focus Blast as your coverage move, which sometimes tanks it, but even Yanmega could be traded up for something to make it a little better, because Yanmega's good with Tinted Lens and with Speed Boost. My number one concern, obviously, is speed outside of Trick Room, right? That's why I think it's like he's going Trick Room every single week, because I don't see enough to cover with it. He doesn't have any super sweepers like Weavile or something really quick like Kartana to kind of clean up after the Trick Rooms have done all their damage, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. And I agree with you on that point.
How do you feel about Trick Room in general?
For me, it took me a while to understand and try and feel out the mechanics of it. Sometimes it's easy to forget that Trick Room's active and realize that, oh, my Pokemon's dead now because I thought I was faster.
Luckily on Showdown, it shows Trick Room in a very obvious way.
Yeah, in a big thing on the corner, if I remember correctly.
Well, the whole thing changes, and yeah. Trick
Room. Oh, yeah, that too. No, but yeah. I feel like I think Initial will pull it off. I think he'll do decent with this team. I'm still salty about the Crawdaunt, but not Crawdaunt, the Crabominable.
He's got to use it though.
Yeah, he's got to use at least 50%, right?
Mm-hmm.
So basically 6 matches.
Or no, it'd be 10 battles. It'd be 10 battles. There's 20 battles. Or sorry, there's 22 battles in total. So he's gonna be doing 20 battles. So he has to use them at least 10 battles.
Gotcha. Okay.
Protecting your assets to make sure that he earns them.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm a man of my word. I'll keep my word if it happens.
4th team, Las Vegas Golden Lucario's Coach Eventual Coma.
I think it's Is it LA or is it Las Vegas?
It's Las Vegas. I just have it as LA because what is the short form for Las Vegas?
LV.
Is it? Oh shoot, I didn't think of that. I thought it was just. I've always called it Vegas. I don't know.
No,
the LA
is California.
Los Angeles. Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, isn't it because we had a California? Wait, what? No, he called himself. No, he called himself the LA Golden Luke. What did he call himself? He called himself Las Vegas. But is it because of his? He's Las Vegas, but I feel like he signed up as LA Golden Lucarios.
I don't know.
I can't remember.
Was just pointing something out.
Golden Lucarios, Coach Coma. Let's take a look at his pick order.
There we go.
Let's just move on from that.
Let me just get my notes.
Where are my Lucarios? Okay, so Lucarios had 8th pick, 1st pick, 11th pick, so pool 1 looking pretty good for them. 2nd pick to start off pool 2, then 4th pick, then 11th pick. In good positions, actually generally holding for the majority of the time at the higher, actually it was pretty even, holding around the higher end and then also holding the bottom end of the pools, but having very good, like twice where they were able to, where Coma was able to take the double on the final picks, which is always valuable because you can see what's been picked up and then you grab some really good stuff. And I think Coma actually made really good use of that time. Let's take a look at the team. Scizor, Caracosta, Lopunny, Stoutland, Meloetta, Snorlax, Tapu Fini, Claydol, Klefki, Kofagrigus, Tentacruel, Roserade. Gambit, go.
Alright, let me just look at my notes right here. Personally, back when I was looking at the team, I don't feel he got as many good picks as I think he should have with his pick order. The only Pokemon that stick out to me personally are Scizor, Lopunny, Snorlax, and Fini. I don't think I see him doing anything else with the other Pokemon. I know those are all mostly OU Pokemon. I don't know. I don't see any kind of synergy between these Pokemon, personally.
I think the one that threw me off the most was the Scizor first pick and then the Lopunny third pick. Because yes, you can run Klutz, Switcheroo, Lopunny. Yes, you can run non-Mega Scizor. I almost felt like what Como wanted to do is pick up as much power as he possibly could to begin with, and then round it off later, which, in my opinion, was pretty risky considering, like, okay, so let's see. So he's 8th pick on the first and second draft, so fine. 3rd and 4th pick, here he goes, right? Not knowing that he was going to be first pick. 3rd and 4th draft, he picks up Lopunny, Stoutland. Stoutland's an odd one to me, considering that he had Scizor and Lopunny, right? So Scizor Lopunny is like, there's a very good offensive core. You can switch between Megas, but you can also run Scizor and Mega Lopunny. There you go. Very awesome offensive core. In my head, I would look through PU and look for a good defensive mon. Because, yes, bans came out after that. And what did he ban on the second? He banned Abomasnow before picking up Stoutland. So he had to ban it because he banned Thunderous T. But what struck me as interesting is he continued on this offensive pickup. So he went Stoutland, then he went Meloetta, Snorlax. I actually think Meloetta is incredibly strong. I really think it's a hard Pokemon to take if you don't have a good resist for it. And can just choice specs things to death. But, like... so many likes. Just so many likes and so many questions because Mega Lopunny is good if you build around it. He has some form of spike setup with Roserade and Tentacle, which he picked up at the very end. So it felt very risky for a long time until Tapu Fini came in. And then he was able to scoop up Klefki, Kofagrigus, Tentacruel, and Roserade. He is the luckiest coach to finish his team as well as he did, considering how offensive he went in Pool 1 when Pool 2 had arguably better of everything, right? Yes, he scooped up Lopunny. Good. Yes, he scooped up Scizor. Good. Go for Stoutland when the PU had a lot of stuff in it, and then went for Snorlax as well when RU still had some other options. I feel like Snorlax doesn't do anything on this team, considering he's already got Lopunny and Meloetta, and you've got Conkeldurr out there as a threat and other fighting types that are just going to punch that team in if they don't get stuff done. But I think he actually, really, 6 defensive pokes in Pool 2, 6 offensive pokes in Pool 1, that's balls. That's straight up, balls to the wall type of strategy, and somehow it somewhat worked out. Yes, he doesn't have the best spinner in Claydol, but he's got Tentacruel all of a sudden, and then he gets the Roserade to help him set up. Then he gets Tapu Fini because for some stupid reason, that gets through because 2 Tapus made it through. I like this if he can play it. And I think there is room to trade. He can look at the pools and he can get rid of Claydol. I think Stoutland can gotten rid of. But I do like I'm glad that he got a defensive core because, Tentacruel, Kofagrigus, Tapu Fini, or even Roserade, Kofagrigus, Tapu Fini you can run. Scizor could be the defensive Mega Scizor if you really want to do that with Defog, or just go Choice Band. I find value, but I do agree there is a bit of a fragmentation, but I think it's also because based on the way that he strategized offense first to grab the big offense, and then he went for defense after, and while he did okay on the defense, he got Lopunny as his offense. So he's going to have to make sure he gets the hazards going. He's got to get Lopunny in to finish stuff off. Otherwise, you would have to take a look at the third rotation again and think about, well, you had the first pick. Why Lopunny and why not something more reliable? Not that Lopunny's not reliable, but why that particular pick? What was that what read did you have on the meta to grab Lopunny, considering a lot of bulky water types with Scald exist?
No, like I said, I can understand the very big offense at the beginning. He did pull together really hard with the setup at the end.
Barely.
As well. Yeah, just barely. When it comes to the picks, like I said, Scizor, Lopunny, Snorlax. I think Snorlax is a good Pokemon in general. I don't know if it's got the synergy on this team, but we'll have to see eventually. For me, when it comes to Meloetta is a hit or miss Pokemon in my opinion. I know it's got the ghost immunity, but I don't know. I'm not too big on Meloetta. Clef, you know what? I didn't even see Klefki. I super forgot to mention that one. Klefki's another good set. He he really got the setup at the end.
He
Plus
did.
Claydol being, I think, the only rapid spinner he has.
He has defog on Scizor and rapid spin on Tentacruel.
You're right. Yep.
Which generally will run it, so he
Yeah.
doesn't lose anything on moveset wise there.
No, yeah. Okay. No, it could be a solid team overall. It just depends on how he plays it, and I'm definitely wanting to see how it goes.
I'm just looking at the trade pool. Would you take, just based on the fact that he got that really good defensive core near the end, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, he's kind of got a weakness to anything that's got both poison and, I guess, poison and dark and fire. So, Mega Houndoom. But would you be opposed to maybe trading the Snorlax for something like Swellow or Cinccino? Just to give him less of that slow offense that he doesn't need, because he's got Meloetta super fast, Lopunny super fast, Scizor super fast, maybe something more on the special side, so maybe not Cinccino as much as the Choice Spec Swellow. Would you make amends with that, or would you even get rid of something like Claydol to bring one of those Pokemon on just to offer a little bit more options?
Yeah, you know what? I would probably drop Claydol for probably maybe like Cinccino or... Yeah, no, probably just Cinccino.
Yeah, I think Claydol was insurance for spinning, but with Tentacruel, I find Claydol to be quite dead, so I think there is an opportunity for him to grab another PU poke that will offer more time, which is fine.
Yeah.
That's why we have the trade pool, and I think that's really good. Final thoughts?
That was my final thoughts.
Shoot! Okay,
No.
next team.
Alrighty.
El Villano, Villain, dude.
Villenio?
Manchester Manetric, Coach Ivan. Here we go. Where am I? Words, what are they? Pick order for Manchester Manetric. 10th, good. 6th, ouch. 2nd, good at the end. Then 9th, and then 2nd. So, got control of the scraps of Pool 1 and Pool 2 near the end. Had to do a lot with working from behind on the back end of the things, which is still okay because responsiveness, you can kind of see what's being picked up and see what will get you the best value. The team of the Manchester Manetric, Nidoqueen, Stakataka, Kieran Black, Roselia, Togekiss, Arcanine, Necrozma, Alomomola, Absol, Galvantula, Mienshao, Zygarde 10%. Your thoughts, Gamma?
Let me just get those notes again.
Where do you keep putting those notes?
Right here. Right over here.
But why do they keep leaving your hands? Like, keep them in your
Because
hands.
they're heavy, dude. They're heavy. I can't hold on to these notes too long, you know?
Right. Paper confirmed too heavy for Gamma.
It is. I'm a very weak boy.
Oh no. We can fix that, if you come over to my channel and start working with Small But Mighty Trainer. We'll be doing coaching for people in fitness. Anyways. That was a not paid advertisement by myself.
But yeah, I can see he's got a decent amount of coverage type-wise, but I feel like he kind of shafted himself when it comes to megas.
Oh, okay.
He got one choice for a mega, I believe.
He has Mega Absol.
The only mega. Yeah, only Mega Absol, that's it. And Mega Absol is not the best.
Okay.
I mean, like I said earlier, megas aren't necessary to do well on a team, but it definitely helps out with the sap boosts. No, but okay, I can see some Pokemon that are going to be pretty annoying for his opponent though, like Kieran Black and Roselia with the setup on the toxic spikes, Lomomola with the regenerator, freaking Galvantula with the compound. Is it compound eyes? Yeah, yes. Compound eyes. Thunder is always a nice move to drop on that. Thunder. Yeah, that's. Other than that, I don't see too many threats personally, but that's just my personal opinion.
As he sips right after that. Wow, what a memer. Anyways, This is a very Ivan draft. Very, very Ivan draft, similar to what Sweet D got. He's got his... How the frick did he get a Regenerator core between Alomomola and Mienshao in the end? I don't know. He didn't get the Amoonguss Alomomola. God bless, nobody got Amoonguss Alomomola. Or scooped up Amoonguss in general, but he ended up getting his double Regenerator. He has run Regenerator ever since Season 2, I think. I don't remember in Season 1 if he had anything, but Season 2, he's always had at least one Regenerator on his team. He likes the Regenerator because he tries to find the pivots correctly, and with the U-turner in Mienshao, actually kind of surprised Mienshao got as far if people needed a fighting type on their team. This got really low down into the tier, or into the picking anyways. Again, that's how much power was there. But he's got his Nido. It's not King, it's Queen this time, which is okay, because Nidoqueen can still go a little more defensive if it wanted to, but can still go offensive just at a tiny bit lower survivability. He's got his Stakataka Togekiss core, I guess. He likes to go 3 defensive Pokemon, so Roselia is a bit of an odd one to me, but considering what he tried to pick up, I think there was a lot. What was his 4th pick? On the 3rd and 4th rotation, what pick order was he? He was 2nd, so he was kind of choosing near the end, but I'm still surprised he picked up Roselia. I don't remember what was in the pool at that time, because you'd have to be a better analyst than I am. But like he likes to rely on 3 really bulky Pokemon that are generally easy to set up on. That's what always been his weakness, is he has to switch, like hard switch from his defensive wall, and it just doesn't work very well. And then he just tries to keep the momentum until he loses it. So he could do that with Nidoqueen. He could do it with Alomomola. He could do it with Mienshao. He could do it with Absol. Galvantula does put a lot of pressure down with Sticky Web. It's gamma cover for me. I don't know what to say. I like it. I don't think it's weak. I definitely think Absol's okay here as a Mega, because the strong knockoff is an asset. The speed, I forget, what does Absol's speed become when it Megas here? Let me quickly do...
Good.
Let me do a little bit of analysis.
Yeah, you know what? I actually did not realize that he had 2 Regenerators on his team, and that's something I could see Ivan using to his advantage really well. So I'm interested to see how he plays it out.
Well, that's what he wants, though. He wants that flexibility. So Mega Absol goes up to 115 speed, which is fine. 150 attack, 115 special attack. The nice thing about Mega Absol is you can run something along the lines of knockoff, play rough, Fire Blast with Sucker Punch or something of the sort like that. You can make that work, and you have access to Magic Bounce as well. So again, mind games, right? He's looking, like I said, Ivan is really good at smashing pubs, right? He's very good at smashing those who are less experienced, gets those advantages, and irks out those points. That's a valid strat. Beat the losers. Sorry, not the losers, but beat the weaker people.
Damn.
Sorry, but like you beat the weaker people, you get the points, you get to top 6, and then you build something along the way, right? Grab your comfort, and then hopefully he can make trades work better this time, and the guy is willing to literally play with anything, so his flexibility could help him if he puts it to good use. As a result, I think there is a lot of NU-RU switching he can do around here if he's not happy with Zygarde 10%, which he should be. You can't use Power Construct, but if he wants a Pokemon with an ability, he could go for something along the lines if he wants another Mega and for some reason wants Audino or Glalie, or if he wants to grab something that he's used before, there's many options there. Maybe Absol's not working out for him. He can switch it out for his Zoroark. He can switch it out for anything else that might be giving him a little bit more coverage. Maybe he can pick up that Sharpedo, right? Suddenly he finds out, hey, you know what? I've got the Regenerator core, can switch a lot. Now I can make a Glass Cannon work. Maybe just start picking up more U-turn, Volt switching type of Pokemon and just start getting advantages. I don't think he's that good of a player when it comes to Glass Cannon plays. He's definitely, this is going to sound stupid, a budget Sweet D. I hate saying that about people, but it's a budget version of what you would see if Ivan had a lot more experience and knew how to play out that defensive style, because he definitely likes his good defensive core and then his slow wearing away, and then have that one person with Nasty Plot or Swords Dance and kind of go from there, right?
Yeah.
And it's not a bad thing to say. I don't know how to feel about Necrozma, though. I don't like Necrozma as an NU-RU pickup. As a PU broken, as an NU-RU value, I feel like, I don't know, it can Calm Mind, it can Rock Polish. There's nothing against the pick. I need to see it used. I've just never been thoroughly impressed by a Psychic type that does the same as other Psychic types that are probably better. Now,
I'm guessing Ultra Necrozma is banned.
You are 100% correct, my friend.
Alright, cool. Just double checking. And Necrozma's garbage. Sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but it's super not good.
It's not great. it's kind of like scraps, you know what I mean? Like, it's not horrible, but on the first pick of this pool, I find that, but that's what got me is he was where am I here? He was 9th pick, right? So yeah, kind of crappy. But if you were gonna go for Necrozma anyways because you wanted Necrozma, why not scoop up a Alomomola first? Like, why not see what you could get, see what's left over, and then try and grab an NU-RU value that could do something better? That's why I think there's something behind the Necrozma that screams like, yeah, I've got a plan with Steelium Z, right?
Yeah. Maybe we're not seeing what he saw with that, which
Yeah.
is another thing. We don't see everything you guys are thinking with these picks, and we're hoping to see different things that people pull off. And Necrozma's another one for me, I guess, because I'm not a fan of Necrozma. I feel the fact that it needs to, like, 90% of the time it's running rock polish just to have the speed to keep up with other Pokemon in the tier. And I'm just like, I don't know.
Which isn't bad. It's just a mono-psychic type that relies on being able to crush stuff in NU-RU, not so much to take on the entire meta that you're going to find in the Pro Pokeball, right?
Exactly.
So that's where I get skeptical. But at the same time, I mean, we've pretty much gotten used to Pro Pokeball. What generally is working the best is you grab your strongest value pick, and then you pivot into the next strongest value pick in that opposite tier that you have to go to. So if you really wanted Necrozma, which is fine, go Alomomola first, then pick up Necrozma. It's like secure that Pokemon you know is going to be good for you and you're going to want, and then you could go pick up that other Pokemon that kind of looks a little sketchy because you're not going to say Necrozma won him the tournament. If it does, I'll be extremely surprised. But I think that there could have been, with a lot of coaches, even some of the top picking coaches, when we get into the other teams here, I think there was some, either like they put incredible value on these pokes, or you need to look at, why did they go the lower tier first, like a PU or an NU pick first, when you know, especially in Pool 2, that it's so stacked that you would want to scoop up the top stacked, unless you're just sitting there going, well, there's so much stack, I'll just pick up whatever's left and it'll be just as good and I'll play with it. You know what I mean? But I'm always under the impression, like, take what you want first. And if the cross was what you wanted first, but you knew you were going to get it anyways, because I don't think it's a hotly contested pick, why not just grab the Alomomola, which will be potentially something, even though a lot of people have bulky wire types, they kind of got away with that. But you could easily pick that up to deny it, to trade it back, and just hold on to it forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Most times you got about 9 or 10 useful Pokemon on your team, especially now with the ban, so I guess 10, 11 useful Pokemon. And then you're just going to have that one, you're just kind of like, yeah, I had to pick this up because shoutouts to, I guess, Claydol. Well, it became less useful after Tentacle. Anyways, I'm interested to see it. I don't know. I trust Ivan. He plays anything. Let's see how it plays out. Next team is Show Me a Moveset.
That's my favorite team. I hope they win the Pro Pokeball.
Gamma, we are tied at 6 apiece.
I believe we are, yes.
We are tied at 6 apiece. Who goes first?
I'm going to let you go first again this time.
Okay, just to remind everybody on how the rules go, him and I have chosen a Smogon moveset. We give the tier, we give the moveset, and what gen and what tier it comes from. We give the moveset. If we get it right, we get 3 points. If we guess it wrong, then we'll move on to the next thing. And what do we give again? Oh my god, I keep forgetting this. We give the typing that it is, and then after that, we give the generation. Who's going first? You said me?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to get this right this time. Are you ready? I'm so excited to get this right. So this is a ZU poke, a Gen 7 ZU Pokemon. Okay?
Okay.
So it's the PU with the brackets.
Okay.
The moveset is Substitute, Aqua Ring, Protect, and Block. The item is Leftovers. The ability is... I've told you the ability before, right? The ability is Pressure, and it's a calm nature with max defense, max special defense. Good freaking luck. Sometimes the ability, I think, makes it too easy. Maybe the ability should be the 2.1. We're still working out the kinks of this game.
So you said it's a Gen 7 Pokemon.
Gen 7 ZU. No. It's not a Gen 7 Pokemon. It could be a Gen 7 Pokemon. But in Gen 7, it's a ZU poke.
Uh-huh. Okay. And what was the moveset? I apologize. Could you just repeat that for me?
Substitute, Aqua Ring, Protect, Block.
Does
Does the ability make this too easy?
I think it's Wailord, isn't it?
It is Wailord.
Yep.
This is the
It's
stupidest
Wailord.
set I've ever seen in my life, and it's
amazing.
glorious.
Leave Wailord alone.
It's glorious. It's so good. It's disgusting. Did the ability make it too easy for you?
No, actually it didn't, because as soon as I typed in pressure, like 90 different Pokemon came up.
Hey, you're not supposed to
the
search.
legendaries.
You're just supposed to search PU and ZU. You're not supposed to search the ability.
Oh no.
You used a
I've been
filter?
bamboozled.
Cheat.
It's not a filter, I just typed in pressure.
That is a... Oh, I just typed in a filtered word. Duh. You're just supposed to look up the tier, man.
I can't filter out the tier. It won't let me. It just does regular PU.
You don't type in PU. You type in...
Bracket PU. Or parentheses PU. It won't let me do that. It just takes me to PU.
Okay, hold on. You can... No, what you can do is Hold on. You go to... You scroll all the way down.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you can just scroll all the way down to below PU.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's really far down,
Hey,
but
listen,
halfway down the thing.
Listen,
you
man.
Whoa.
It was a pain to find it anyway. Just cause 90 different Pokemon have that ability, my dude.
Well,
all the legendaries have it.
Oh, cool. Yeah, because I chose a ZU legendary.
I mean, it's possible.
No. Actually, never mind. Regigigas.
Yeah, freaking Articuno.
Oh, poor Articuno, man.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's PU. It's not ZU. Haha.
Oh, I thought I saw the parentheses on it.
I'm on top of my bracket game today.
Dang diddly darn it.
All right, you get your 3 points, even though you cheated.
Yeah, I'm not a cheater. You cheated.
I didn't cheat. I messed up. Difference. Last
time. I should have guessed timber.
Yep.
All right.
I'm ready.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Okay.
You don't have one, do you?
All right. No, I do. I have one.
Okay.
All right. So this is a Gen 7 OU moveset.
Oh.
Pokemon.
Okay.
First one being Leaf Blade.
Okay.
Sacred Sword, Knockoff, and Defog. And I'm gonna let you go with that for now.
It's Kartana.
Yeah, it is.
I was like, Leaf Blade, Sacred Sword, Kartana. I know. Yeah. I was suspecting. I'm pretty sure I've seen Kartana use Defog before, but the moment you say Beast Boost, I think we have to. I think the 2 points should be the ability. I think the 2 points should be the ability.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know. It depends. That's a tough call.
How about this? Those of you listening, type in the comments whether you think we should do that or not.
I was just about to say that. We're starting to twinsying.
We're twinsies.
We're twinsiesings. Yay! So we're both at 9 points and nothing's changed. Awesome. That's okay. We like winning. That's fine.
Yeah.
We don't mind losing, but we like winning. Now that that's over, let's move on to the next team, Gamma. Miami Milotics, run by Jillip. So, let's see what the new player to this tournament received. I believe he is the one who got the most he was tied with Ice Cold with the number of times he was in first. But this guy, okay. Can I just point out, we're going to discuss his team. This man got a first pick in Pool 1 and wasn't here. And still came out okay. So let's talk about this. First pick, 9th pick, 10th pick. Then first pick in Pool 2, 5th pick, and then 3rd pick. This was a take the value ASAP type of draft order. He had so much control. The team, Machamp, Darmanitan, Weavile, Cryogonal, Manaphy, Ferroseed, Azelf, Lantern, Nihilego, Florge, Diggersby, Simipour. Gamma, go.
Alright, let me just get my notes.
Oh my god, build some musculature to hold said notes.
I need somebody to help me work out.
I'm in.
Okay, then. Well, good. Maybe we should do that sometime.
On a different episode.
Honestly, he got some decent pulls. I mean, not pulls. Decent picks with this. Manaphy is a really big one. Darmanitan's pretty high up there for me, too. Weavile's a staple, just in general. Diggersby, though.
Diggersby, though.
Diggersby, though.
Diggersby, though?
Diggersby.
Though.
Though. No, I could see him putting together something decent with all this. Pharisee is okay for setup. It's just, with the amount of knockoff, like you said, the ability for people to do knockoff items in this format is just, it's a big chance that's not going to have its EV light.
Eh. First, he's one of those Pokemon that's gonna die when it gets hit, regardless. It would mostly be the strongest in its PU tier, even if it got knocked off, because it'll still be able to tank down there. And this one is just gonna be like, even if it gets knocked off, you'd rather just destroy it. There's enough fighting types around to destroy too, and fighting moves.
That's
Either way.
true. But other than that, I like I said, I could see him maybe putting something decent together. I'm just not sure how that would go.
This is an aggressive
Personally.
team.
Yeah.
This is an offensive team. The one thing that I actually kind of fear is if this will test defensive cores. Like, we could talk about my hyper aggro and generally, like, if you have a solid defense, you know how to manage it and make sure that they're not getting the most value. So when they hit, perhaps they take a lot of damage back, and that's generally how you want to take down hyper aggro, having the priority or just having a wall that's going to do a lot back to them, right? So this team has some good options to go aggressive, right? Bulky mons like Machamp, Manaphy, Florge, Diggersby, though. These types of Pokemon can kind of just do the damage while just sort of sitting there and not have to do a lot. They can also set up if they wanted to. But then you also have these great wall breakers, like Darmanitan. Machamp could be a great wall breaker. Azelf can go aggressive. I don't really call it a wall breaker because it can't really stand out there and do much, but Diggersby is a great wall breaker. Simipour can set up. Nihilego can do a lot of damage. There's a lot of great options here for him just kind of go offense tempo. So what that means is using your switches such as you have Volt Turn and Azelf Lantern. Diggersby also gets U-turn if you're able to use that with, I think Manaphy also gets U-turn. But and Darmanitan gets U-turn. So you can basically build this team that is consistently switching to try and gain the advantage, and that's what's going to help you with your aggressiveness. And I'm interested to see how this is going to work. I'm a little, I'm happy that he got Weavile because the rest of his team does have good speed, but they're not the tankiest in being able to do stuff. I mean, you do have Z Rain Dance Manaphy, which was mentioned during the draft day, but Darmanitan's speed is good, which means, to be fair, a lot of the teams are pretty slower. This is just looking better and better the more I try and explain myself. He has good options offensively. My concern is if he gets beat to the punch, literally, he's going to have no bulk behind. He's going to have no bulk left. So if you're looking for a defensive core, it's literally Lantern, Nihilego, Florge. And Pharisee, there's not much there. Manaphy you can go bulky Manaphy, which will do it, and which he doesn't actually have to rely on much to be an offensive carry if he doesn't want to, because it's base 100 across the board, and he's already got great Pokemon like Darmanitan and Weavile. So there is a chance for him to build pretty well around this team. There's a few flexible options. There's a lot of Pokemon he can also trade out to try and get other offensive Pokemon to support his team. So I think it's good. We don't know much. We don't know a lot about Jillip. I'm just hoping that what he uses with this team is effective, right? Like make great use of that U-turning. He's got so many good U-turners. Just use it, right? Use that Lantern to soak up hits, baiting out electric attacks, even though there's not going to be a lot of stab electric, but just bait it out. You're not going to be using 7-4 Lantern per se. You can, but people will see it coming. But just put that Azelf Levitate with Lantern Volt Switch synergy together, so you have a lot of immunity. Bring it out to Cragalow, which also has Levitate. Bring it into it when Darmanitan and Weavile can both come in and just start smashing. I like it. It's budget. He's got some OUs on here actually, but the value that he grabbed, I don't feel he's as pigeonholed because he can trade, and with the trades, I think Simipour is actually a decent pickup as his final pick there. Is there anything that he could try and make it? He could get more bulky, like if he wanted to grab maybe a Regirock instead of using Nihilego. Not to trade out Nihilego for it, but to get Regirock in to maybe give him a little bit more bulk. Again, the Cinccino, if he wants more U-turning strategy with pressure, I think it's good. It's set up for success, in my opinion.
I don't know, noob. I think. Do you want somebody to pick up Cinccino out of the PU pool?
I'm not too certain, but something tells me someone should try it just to see how happy I will be. I may start dancing, and I can't move.
So it'll be a show then. With Jillip, I see what you mean. That he's definitely gonna have to be the pivot with the U-turn. When it comes to the only thing I worry about that with about that with is hazards, like spikes, poison spikes. I saw a bunch of that on the past few teams we checked out. I know he does have cryogonal, but the question is he going to have it on his team? That's what I'm worried about. Because if somebody drops those hazards, the spikes, it's going to eat away at his team, and it's already got not that much bulk. So I'm worried to see if he can hold up with it, but I'm also hopeful that he is able to pull some stuff off. But we'll just have to wait and see.
That is a really good observation. He does not have another defogger to my knowledge. Let me just take one more look here. He is quite weak to rocks. Florge, does get a defog, I think.
Does it? I'm not sure. Let me check.
Oh, I was just checking. Dang, I was just doing some research as you mentioned that, because you are correct. His spinner is also weak to rocks. It does get defog. Okay, so probably relying on Florge then, because rocks are a big deal for these types of teams. So I'm kind of glad he actually grabbed that Florge. What was he on Florge? Yeah.
Florge is a saving grace at that point.
Like I said, his defensive core is already looking kind of weakish, but not, because like he can convert the Manaphy to be that bulky Scald user if he wanted to. And as long as he's pivoting correctly, I think he can hold his own. He's also got Wish support. So like it's a very smart team. He has the right idea. Azelf can also even be just a suicide lead where it can go explosion, stealth rock, then explosion. Don't do it the other way around. That'd be bad. And then just switch it to the right play and just start threatening out. Because the idea is with offensive tempo, you want to scare them out so you can get not only residual damage between hazards, because you can go spikes on your Sphericide and bring Stealth Rock as well on something else, or on Sphericide again. You want to scare them out to take the extra additional damage, but also just always be on top and make them respond. You want to be initiating, not reacting, right? Your reaction becomes an advantage, which is generally what you want to do in Pokemon, but more so with aggressiveness, because once you fall behind in aggressiveness, you run out of less and less options, and then you just get swamped. Which is why I never played aggressiveness. I played control. So I like it.
I'm with you on that. It's interesting. We'll see how it plays out.
I love how decisive we sound with these analysis. Just like, it's good. Yeah, it's alright. It could have been better. That's really good. Yeah.
I guess it's alright.
Fine by me.
We'll have to wait.
In the end, it's all on paper. We gotta see them battle. Well, and stuff like that.
I know.
All right.
But it's just the thought. It's just
as always. Sometimes the thought doesn't count. Exactly. As you can tell from Pocket Full of Showdown. Gamma.
Oh, yeah, true.
It's your favorite time.
Oh, Lord.
Pull out the horns! Sarasota Suicoons! Featuring Celatran and everything that Gamma hates about getting through on the draft.
Kill me.
I'd rather not. You're a very fun person.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome.
I guess that's why I'm here.
Alright, here we go. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Ow, my hand. Are you ready? Here we go. Suicoon's pick order. 2nd, 10th, 4th, 8th, 7th, 8th. So not number 1. He's not getting some. He was actually fairly behind in kind of like bad positions when it came to controlling things. His team, however, and very rightfully so, picked up Heatran, Mudsdale, Blastoise, Celebi, Slurpuff, Tornadus, Hoopa Unbound, Electros, Lucario, Guzzlord, Salamence, Licky Licky. Unleash the beast, Gamma.
I'm baffled that he got this good of picks. I'm literally dumbfounded, and I don't know what to say about it other than these picks are amazing. And he got Heatran, Celebi. I hate everybody that let him get that. But I feel like he can put together a really solid team, decent bulk, decent attack, and I think it's going to work out. I think it's going to work out for him. I think it's a team that can help him get to the top 6 pretty easy, as long as he knows how to play it, which he probably does. I think he might, because he's the one who got that team together in the first place. So we'll just have to see on that one. How about you, Noob? Yeah.
Now let's be fair. Celatran was better when there was no team preview. You could see it coming, right? I think the one thing is just people are having that bias when they saw it from Season 4. And we're just playing it up because it's really funny. But I mean, Celatran is just a good core, in my opinion, anyways. Especially with the water type that he got was Blastoise. So he's got a Fire Water Grass core, right? And it might not be the most stellar water type that he picked up, considering also, like, he was 10th pick, so he wasn't going to grab anything phenomenal. Like, I'm just trying to see. Yeah, so the people who grabbed... Let me just double check. Third pick there was good. I'm just doing a couple of checks on the Pokemon that were actually scooped up on the third draft. Yeah, he had lost a lot of water types prior to that, so this is the best it's going to get for him. Not for the best he can get for him, but if he wants that Fire Water Grass core, he got it in the first 4 picks. That's solid. But yeah, no, I agree. He got some good power. He's got some great power behind him. I actually scratched my head slightly at Lucario, but then I also thought about, well, he's got the fairy handling, he's just got fighting stab. I just always fear with Lucario's frailty that it's not going to get much done when it goes against bulky fire types, or... I mean, he's the one holding the Heatran, so he doesn't worry too much. Even though Close Combat, I think, almost destroys non-defensive Heatran. But Hoopa Unbound, I'm so happy I get to see this thing in action. I've been looking forward to a Hoopa Unbound in the tournament. Whether it actually ever gets played or not banned is another thing, but I'm just glad that it made it onto paper. So that's pretty neat. The Electros was picked up by him as well. The kind of near the end of his draft, like his last 4 picks kind of made me scratch my head a bit. He did go for the Salamence, which is not terrible. It might... I'd have to go back and see what other people picked up on that rotation. But he's got himself options. And this will be, in my opinion, the team that he needs to prove. If he's going to pick up something this good, I want to say right now, it's above average, in my opinion, in terms of a draft. He can easily trade out the Licky for something better, like Cinccino, or he can trade out for the Guzzlord to get something else.
Stop with the Cinccino. Please, somebody just pick Cinccino so I don't have to hear about it next week.
Every single week, I will complain about Cinccino until it's on a team.
Please, God, no. Don't let him do this to me.
Anyways. But there is room for trades. There is room for options. In turn, we haven't even been talking about this, like, ban baiting. We'll see more maybe as we get into some of the battle weeks and see what's getting consistently banned after one or two battles. But see kind of like what would be the statistics of usage versus statistics of banning. We'll get more of that information as the seasons go on. But he's got special attackers, he's got physical attackers. He has 2 actually really good attackers that can attack on both ends in Hoopa Unbound and Salamence. So that's pretty solid. Celebi can be defensive or offensive. Heatran can be defensive or offensive. You see what I'm saying? Like, even Blastoise can go offensive with Rapid Spin. He's got really good flexibility on his pokes. So I think Gamer needs that. I really think he needed those types of Pokemon make work. Electros is literally the Swiss Army knife of Pokemon, where it could do almost anything that it wants to do, minus self-reliable recovery. So
the options are what's going to lift him up, personally. Yeah. He has the option to do what he wants with these Pokemon. These Pokemon are so versatile that it's going to lift him up through the ranks, I think.
My one fear is I don't want him to overthink what he's doing. I think if he finds a good pairing of 6... Like, Gamma, what 6 would you choose out of this to make a team, not assuming bans? Let's not assume bans. Right. What would you build? And maybe, you know what? Come up with 7 to replace the one you think would get banned.
All right, let's see. Going off this, I'd probably run maybe Hoopa Unbound, Electros. I think I would throw Salamence in there as well, because I don't think I've seen too much ice support on the other teams. I'd probably drop Heatran on there as well. And Blastoise. That was 6, right?
I think that's 5. Same again.
5.
Hoopa Unbound.
Heatran, Blastoise, Hoopa Unbound, Electros, Salamence.
That's 5.
And then I would drop Lucario there as well as the second Mega.
It can't Mega.
Oh, it can't? Never mind then.
If it could Mega, I would say Lucario is an amazing pickup, but no, it cannot Mega.
Can Salamence Mega?
No.
If he hasn't, okay, I guess Mega Blastoise it is then.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
It will, unless he goes leftovers for the bulkiness. Mega Blastoise's defense when it Mega Evolves, I think, does get a little bigger. So,
All right, then I would drop Lucario and drop in Slurpuff.
okay.
Slurpuff can be a very strong Pokemon if it gets to set up like it wants to.
Mm-hmm.
Belly Drum and Play Rough, Stab, plus, I don't know, Body Slam or something.
Be returned.
It could return, yeah. There you go. It's pretty good. I think it's a pretty good Pokemon. Those are the ones I would pick.
Okay. I would go, like, if I was thinking defensive core, definitely Heatran, Blastoise, Celebi. If Heatran is out of there, maybe Electros. Or maybe if I'm fearing or don't need spinning, maybe you can go Electros with Celebi, Heatran, because then you have that ground immunity for Heatran that you can easily switch in with.
Yeah.
Potentially build it physically defensive, which it can do, yeah. So there's that. Offensive-wise, he's got a few options. I think Tornadus is a smidge overlooked because no item acrobatics with access to Prankster Taunt can shut down anything it wants to set up. It also has one of those, again, those flying stab that we were looking for to take out these fighting and these grass Pokemon, so he's got access to that. Even Mudsdale could be a good Pokemon to send in as a physical wall, right? Can't take the special hits, but it could just stand in there and take the hits if maybe you're concerned with Electros or even Celebi, take on maybe physical bug moves like Scizor's attacks or anything like that.
Oh, especially with stamina.
Yes, exactly. That's what makes it super obnoxious. Does he have wish support? Technically, Salamence gets wish. Licky does get wish if he wanted to run that for some weird reason. But
instead of Cinccino.
Cinccino. I would actually, honestly, Guzzlord out, Cinccino in. Because even you were scratching your head about Guzzlord. I think Guzzlord was a 10th pick, and he was 7th in the draft, right? So, yeah, he was a bit on edge with that. We'll try to pick up from Pool 2. I think Cinccino would be a great way to go now. Or if he wants another decent attacker, or if he wants maybe more wall added, maybe not Regirock for this team. Why do I feel like Haunter looks okay here on his team? Haunter's a Scarf.
I don't know.
Maybe for another ghost type, because most likely Hoop Unbound's not.
It's gonna levitate.
It also has levitate, so I feel like he could really keep Heatran safe if he wanted to. I don't think that's the number one. Like, you don't want to think that hard about, all these ground moves are going to wreck Heatran. It's always going to,
yeah.
But I think just Haunter as another special option if he didn't want to use... Oh, man, that's weird. He's got a lot of special walls, like special attacking walls.
Yeah.
And he's got Salamence and Hoop Unbound, which could both go special, but Celebi could do 2, I guess. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe Cinccino over Guzzlord wouldn't make any difference, but still Cinccino because he has Pivot.
I guess.
Can Cinccino fit in with any team? The answer is yes.
Mm-hmm.
He could also, if he wanted to... I don't know how I feel about putting Aurorus on his team. Hear me out.
Okay.
The chip away with the hail could be valuable. I don't know if it earns him anything per se, but because a lot of his Pokemon, like I'm looking at Lucario, I'm looking at Salamence, I'm looking at Hoop Unbound, I'm looking at Slurpuff, Heatran, stuff like this. I feel like he has a lot of two-shot potential, and I think Hail would push that over the edge when putting pressure down. But I think he'd have to. I think I'd have to see him play it before actually being like, yeah, that was a good call. So maybe we'll not see it. Plus, times 4 week to fighting, probably not that convincing with a lot of the fighting types that are gonna have Mach Punch. So
yeah,
maybe not. But I don't know. I feel like if he could trade up something, like I'm just looking at the Pokemon I would trade out. He could even go. No, maybe not Entei for this team, but Aggron maybe over Lucario if he wanted another Mega that could be super freaking fat because Filter with Mega. He could do that if he doesn't want to just rely on the Mega Blastoise. Or just Rockhead Head Smash could do a bunch of damage to a lot of people. And he's got his Celebi to handle the bulky water types, so there's a couple of options there for him to switch around. If he wanted to.
You got me thinking.
Yep.
I would probably drop the Guzzlord and throw in Kangaskhan.
Okay.
For that physical bulk, physical damage. It's got Scrappy, so it can take care of ghost Pokemon. And I think that would be a solid replacement.
I don't know how many I don't know how many ghosts he'd have to handle though.
I thought I saw a decent amount of them, but I could be super wrong.
There's Dustoir, Kofagrigus, which would ruin him. Like, the weird thing about Kangaskhan is the reason why it's PU is it gets scrappy, yes, but, like, it just doesn't... It's meant for its normal stab. And to replace Guzzlord, like, Guzzlord does have value, I guess.
It doesn't. I have to disagree with you on that. Guzzlord, 4 times weak to fairy, weak to fighting, weak to bug, weak to everything.
Yeah.
Plus, it's stupid.
Maybe, okay, how about this then? If you wanted to trade out, what about Sawsbuck? Because it does get Jump Kick and it's normal grass. So it gives him just another dual stab he could make use of. Because it would have more coverage than Kangaskhan as well, therefore more stab as well. Right?
You know what? I could see that. That wouldn't be a bad pick.
If you wanted to make a trade up for it. Okay.
Either way, his team is pretty beefy and good.
No, I think this is, like I said, this is the time for him to prove that if he can build a team like this, and no matter what gets banned, whether I'm expecting Koopa Unbound or Heatran to generally be the targets, I don't think much else is targetable here. But if he can play it out with the 11 pokes that he gets, I think this will be the surge for Gamer to pose himself as he is not only a top 6 player, but he's actually a playoffs, like a true playoffs threat to go into the semis and go into the finals and actually start taking games off of some of the Titans in the tournament.
I can see it.
Okay, next. Remember when we said we were going to make this short?
This is short?
It's not anymore.
I'm trying. I'm sorry.
No, we're just gotta keep talking, man. It's just the way it goes.
It's just we
Knight.
can look at all these teams.
Ninjas. I know there's so much theory crafting, but and we're only going off so much. All right, Fortnite Ninjas, Coach Mitchie W. Another this one's gonna tilt you. Ready for this? Okay, so Fortnite Ninjas. Here we go. Ready? 4th pick, 8th pick, 8th pick. Then 4th pick, 11th pick, then 7th pick. So pretty also kind of like shoved in the middle, got that one good double on the 9th and 10th pick, which he actually got, in my opinion, a pretty good steal from a lot of people. Let's look at his team for a guy who kind of got shoved down to the middle waiting for other people to choose around him. Latias, Quagsire, Gengar, Virizion, Rotom Heat, Fortress, Tapu Bulu, Girder, Conkeldurr, Spiritomb, Mamoswine, Slowking. I'm just staring right at you, man. I'm waiting.
You don't need to wait. You go to town, man. Because
you want me to go to town?
Go to town, dude.
I'm gonna say this, and I don't like being vindictive, and I don't like being super judgy. I can't wait for everyone to get destroyed by Tapu Bulu. I want everybody to shut up about Tapu Bulu. Tapu Bulu is good. It's really good. You're going to see it on a really good player, and it will demonstrate, hopefully, what it can do. He might not use it and it might get banned a lot, but if it draws bans away from the rest of his team, it's already getting value. This should have never made it through. And no less when he is 4th pick. This thing could have been used to pivot for a ban. Or sorry, not for a ban. It could have been used to bait out a ban. This thing could have been used to trade up for another Pokemon later, if people really think Tapu Bulu is that bad, because then if you think about it, if you trade Tapu Bulu in, it's an OU Pokemon that they have to trade for Tapu Bulu, which means you do lose some value. But Tapu Bulu is really good. It's really strong when it's not resisted, and when it's set up well, and with the team that Mitchie has, it's gonna shine. It's gonna shine so hard. And all those bulky water types, gone. Like, those water cores, dead. He's got him in the bag.
It fits with this meta. It's gonna be a really tough mon. I'm pretty sure it's gonna get banned a lot, but if it doesn't, that's a pretty bad mistake on whoever's playing against him's end.
I would go as far as it would matter on the defensive capabilities and whether or not you have a reliable poison user. But yeah, no, it's like almost 100% ban rate. And the worst part is, if you ban Bulu, the man is sitting on Latias, and Latias could do a lot of damage if not handled correctly. Okay, so you ban Latias. Now he's got Bulu and Conkeldurr and Mamoswine to worry about. Then he just whips out a really good core that takes out your Fire, Water, Grass core in Rotom, Heat, Tapu Bulu, and then what's the last one that's left over? Fire? He's got Mamoswine. So, your Fire, Water, Grass, gone. His momentum, amazing. He's got Slowking again. which he's going to make use of that regenerator. It's just a super bulky Pokemon that can be paired up. His own Firewire Grass Core is Tapu Bulu, Rotom Heat, Slowking. Do you remember what happened when he used Pokemon like that? When he put those Pokemon together and got all that pressure and made them switch nonstop and then swept? Yep. I'm concerned. Now, the other thing is I pried a bit, and people might think, why Girder and Conkeldurr? I think Girder, and I was right, actually, I did ask him after, and he did confirm. Girder was picked up because he didn't expect Conkeldurr to stay. He didn't expect to pick up Conkeldurr, so he picked up something that was in his power after Bulu. So not only did he get Tapu Bulu, but he has a free trade in Girder for something like Cinccino, and then he could go out and still use the stronger version of Girder in Conkeldurr. So, like, really, really, really consider that for a guy who had to wait till the very end most times, or had to wait for the middle to pick up Pokemon, not only did he get really good value, but he also got a lot of Pokemon that he doesn't need Virizion. He's got Conkeldurr, he's got Tapu Bulu. He doesn't need Virizion, in my opinion. If he was to trade that out, I don't know what he'd actually go for. If he's looking for another, like, he can keep it, but if he doesn't want to worry about that, he's got something like... No, he just probably doesn't need Kingdra. Gamer, what's your opinion on Mitch's team while I look at this?
No, I'm with you. It's a solid team. I think he got some good picks. It was smart of him to pick up the Girder before picking up Conkeldurr. Because what if he didn't get what he wanted?
Well, he had to because of the tiering, right? He picked up Boo, so he had to pick up PU.
Yeah, exactly. So it was smart to at least get a decent PU swap. So
yeah, he grabbed the PU that was the most valuable for his team.
Yeah. Other than that, he's got good coverage. He's got decent Pokemon that can take a hit. He's got Bulu, which is pretty good in this meta with all the water Pokemon I've been seeing. I think he did good in the drafting process, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he plays the team.
I'm kind of thinking actually Heliolisk over. I don't know why. I'm just thinking Heliolisk would be okay on this team. Maybe. Probably not, because he's got Rotom Heat. Man, that's tough. Maybe he just keeps it. I don't know. Maybe he just doesn't give other people Virizion. Because he can't necessarily... Well, he can't really crush Virizion himself. But he can. Rotom Heat, I guess. Gengar as well. Nonetheless, yeah, he's oh, man. He's got Quagsire if he doesn't run Slowking. Like, it's so good for him. And like I said, he's got a couple of pokes he could potentially part with. He's got his hazards to set up with as well. And we already know if that Dragon Tail Future Sight set comes back, which was standard, he's going to force a lot of switches. What else has he got here to force switches? Not really a lot in terms other than just his own U-turning. Because Tapu Bulu, I believe, gets U-turn, correct?
Yes.
Got Fortress with Volt Switch, Rotom Heat with Volt Switch. He's got good stuff. And he's got a lot of safety too. A lot of these Pokemon are just self-recovery, crippling, and just get the right poke out. So, yeah. It's good. It's sad how good it is considering how middle of the barrel, and I'm really blown away that Tapu Bulu made it through. But you know what? We always said that 4 Bulu should never, no Bulu or no Tapu should ever make it through, except maybe Feeny, and Feeny and Bulu did make it through. So if Bulu is handled appropriately, then good for you. But for those who say that it does not get U-turn. Okay, so nonetheless, great. That makes matters much better, Gamma. Great, thank you.
Oh, obviously.
Oh yeah, no. Oh, it can't be utility. It'll just destroy something. Neat. Nonetheless, yeah. He's gonna have fun with this. He's gonna have fun with this team. And we'll see what happens. We'll see how many bands go towards Bulu. We'll be keeping track of that, obviously, week by week.
Yeah.
Next team. Todd Skyrim Howard. Are you buying his game?
I'm not buying his game. I never bought his game, and I will not continue to buy his game.
I was actually going to ask, have you ever played Skyrim?
Actually, I have Skyrim.
Oh, okay.
I take it back. I bought it like a couple weeks ago for like $10.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I bought his game.
That's not too bad.
So, but yeah, okay. Continue.
Soto Dude's pick order is 5th, 7th, 5th, and then 3rd, 8th, and then 1st. So he had the first pick on the last end, which I think was actually pretty good because he got a pretty good steal there for his 11th pick. But his team, Dragonite, his patent mascot, Lurantis, Oricorio, he is a troll, Xurkitree, Chandelure, Hoopa Confined, Jirachi, Jellicent, Cobalion, Weezing, Primarina, and Ampharos. Gamma go.
No, I think you got a lot of good picks out of this, actually. I think Chandelure's a good pick. I think Xurkitree's an amazing pick, actually. Dragonite's a good Pokemon overall. Weezing is a good tank. Primarina's...
Good.
Hit or miss. No, it's hit or miss.
With Move Tutor, it's kind of like Meloetta. With Move Tutor, it became very powerful.
Yeah, I guess so. Ampharos, it's an okay Pokemon.
Nah,
I don't know if I'd Mega Evolve it. Jirachi is another good one. Jirachi's great pick. No, I think he's got a decent semblance of a team here, man. I think he can put something good together.
This is the other team that kind of screamed a bit of Trick Room options. Mega Ampharos can be using it because you got Lurantis, which can also use it. Chandelure is a Trick Room setter if you wanted it to be, as well as Hoopa. So there are some good options for him here. I think he has a good defensive core for sure. He's got the Dragonite mixed with the Jirachi and the Cobalion with the Weezing. There's some good bulk here. He's also got in the form of Defog. I think Oricorio gets Defog. I can't remember, but Lurantis most certainly does get Defog. Thank you. Show me your moveset.
Oh yeah, Lurantis, I forgot.
Yeah. Excuse me. But yeah, he's it's decent. There's nothing that screams, wow, this is really gonna beat people in. I do like Xurkitree. I don't know, like, it could be really good if you lose the resistances for it, but I don't know how much it's going to win him the game. At the same time, I mean, it should win him the game if he gets things into range for it, right? He's got Weezing, which can Will-O-Wisp. He's got Jellicent, which can Scald Will-O-Wisp. He's got Jirachi, which can Paralyze. He's got a lot of things here that can actually kind of cripple. Cobalion can carry Thunder Wave. But Chandelure can even go Will-O-Wisp if it wanted to. So Dragonite could do that Parashuffling set, which used to be my favorite on Dragonite. So there's a fair amount of setup here for him to try and sweep with something like Xurkitree or Dragonite, or even Primarina just kind of like wall breaking nonstop. Dragonite can also be a very good wall breaker. So he's got some good power going along with him. I am concerned, however, with his overall speed tiers. I believe his fastest Pokemon is Cobalion?
Yeah, I think you're right on that one.
His speed should be 107 like the rest of them. Is it 107 for them? What's their speed on that? Cobalion is 108. Yeah, so that's his fastest poke. So on average, his team is a bit slower. And that can concern me a bit when it comes to finishing stuff off like a hyper carry. But DD Dragonite, a thing. Paralyzing everything also can be a thing. There's not a lot of electric types, so a lot of things are going to get paralyzed by Jirachi. So, yeah, no, it's good. He's got the flexibility with Oricorio. Go pom-pom birds. I don't know. What do you want me to say?
No, yeah, like I said, he's got a solid team, and I could see him doing pretty well with it. So
now he did say he is going for memes, so I don't know how high we can rank this.
I mean, memes can be good, memes can be bad. It just depends
bad
on how it's played out.
No, memes are always bad.
Listen, man. We're gonna fight. We're gonna fight, noob.
What, your broken hand and my broken hand and legs?
I'll break the other hand.
But then I can't do anything. Does that mean you're doing all of my playing for me and I just use my voice and we just put your body on camera and I just talk for you?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
I'd be all for that, actually.
Yeah, no. I want to see what he does.
Agreed. Last team to talk about, Gamma. We're almost there. Do you get tired at the end of these podcasts?
No, I just get tired in general.
Good answer. Last team to talk about, Transverse City Thunderous.
All right,
Shark King.
Listen here.
Oh boy.
Who the hell didn't ban Alolan Ninetales? Who did it? You're all guilty. I said the first thing that came out of my mouth. The first thing that came out of my mouth was ban Alolan Ninetales. Don't let nobody pick Alolan Ninetales. You done goofed. Now he has. If you, I'm just so frustrated. I gave you all the one Pokemon to ban, and you let him have it. You gave it to him on a silver frickin' platter.
If only you were this passionate about Tapu Bulu.
Listen, man, Tapu Bulu's whatever. I don't even like Tapu Bulu, but I can understand it's an okay Pokemon. Alright. Alolan Ninetales with Aurora Veil, his whole team for 7 turns, because you know he's gonna run the Light Clay and Snow Warning. The 7 turns of halved physical and halved special damage. I don't know what else I'm supposed to say about that, noob.
You're right. Sharking's team is literally Alolan Ninetales and 11 carried. Alolan Ninetales will carry his whole team. We don't even need to talk about his pick order. We don't need to talk about his team. It's just Alolan Ninetales and friends. You're right.
It doesn't even matter. No, like, look at his team, though.
Oh, I'm agreeing with you.
Exactly. I know. He's got Volcarona. He's got Starmie, Serena with that Queenly Majesty, Gyarados, which can Mega with the Mox. Like, it can get Moxie boosted, that it can Mega. You got Hydreigon, Alolan Muck. Dude, what is wrong with this?
Okay, let's give the statistics really quickly and just get onto this team, because I know you're the most passionate about this team per se.
Oh my god.
Here we go. Sharking's pick order. 3rd, 11th, 7th, and then 7th again, 10th, and 4th. So, not in a great position to pick first. He was actually usually picking near the bottom. And he got this. Now, here's the thing. I think Volcarona is a great pickup, first of all. I think if you could build a team around Volcarona, he's going to succeed with that. I think the Alolan Ninetales really does cinch that, especially since he got it on a double. The Dodrio one is odd, but the Alolan Ninetales is not odd. I do agree. If you're going to play aggressive like this, because he has a lot of just aggressive Pokemon that want to keep hitting you nonstop and just be wall breakers and just put down a bunch of damage, Alolan Ninetales makes the most sense. Alolan Ninetales itself has access to Moonblast and Blizzard, which is going to hit 100% of the time in the Snow Warning. So he has a bit of weather control himself that happens to also bring a ton of utility that he's more times than not going to get off. So
don't forget Freeze Dry. That's another thing.
Oh my god. Rip all those water bulks. Nice. So you're not going to be able to run it, though. What are you going to do? You going to get rid of Blizzard?
No, why you gonna?
Oh, Aurora Veil! Shoot, I'm like, but he's gonna use Reflected Light Screen right there all in one attack. Thanks, Alolan.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, I just blipped there. I'm like, wow, I am getting tired. Nonetheless, he has a really good team. This did give me a bit of questions though, because there were some Pokemon that he had to pick up in the PU and the NU tier that didn't necessarily scream like, oh, this is your picks, okay, because things like Dodrio and Alolan Raichu kind of maybe scratched my head a smidge, considering there were some more defensive options potentially that he could have picked up in there. I don't remember exactly what's in Pool 1. I should have pulled that up when you were going off on your Alolan Ninetales tangent. But
you should have.
I should have. So here's what worries me, right? The 6 OP that I would put for him is Volcarona, Alolan Ninetales, Starmie, Rhyperior, Alolan Muck, and maybe
Serena.
I'm thinking Serena or Gyarados, yeah. So, with this, he's got to find the way to get into Volcarona to set it up well. There's a lot of rock that happens in this, like, on average, rock is a very common attack, and rocks are very common in everybody's teams. He has, what does he have for spinning here? He has Serena and Kabutops for spinning. I think Dodrio gets... Starmie is also a spinner. Does Dodrio get defog, just out of curiosity? I know Arceus gets defog.
I don't think it does.
He doesn't have as much setup as everybody else, now that I look at it. He has a lot of anti-setup, but he's only got rocks on this team, if I'm looking at this right.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't even think he needs the setup if he can get these Pokemon off.
Yeah, what I was going to say is he doesn't need to focus on it because he's going to try and go as aggressive. But this is basically Ox 2.0, right? This is going to be Season 4 Ox, Season 3 Chaos Infinity. This is the aggressive team that wants to keep going and wants to keep that offensive momentum up. The difference between the other aggressive teams in this particular season is this is more wall breaking. So he has that Hydreigon, which is a great wall breaker. He has the Alolan Muck, which is a good wall breaker. Arceus is a good wall breaker. And then you have your setup pokes like Gyarados, Volcarona, Alolan Ninetales to an extent, I guess. Even Starmie can technically Calm Mind if it wanted to. I don't know if it'll get the time on this team too, because there's better options. But there's also he's just got a lot of hit, right? And similarly, I do think that if you're able to hold out 7 turns and get rid of that Alolan Ninetales somehow, I do think he falls a little short if he loses his bulky pokes. He's got really good things, but in terms of what's going to stand out there if he doesn't have set up Quiver Dance or set up DD, I don't think much of anything. So he's going to have to get as much value out of every Pokemon using whatever they use as possible to make sure that he stays in it. That's the way I'm thinking about it, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah,
I can understand where you're going with that.
He has some really good Pokemon. If he finds that, you know what, this team cannot handle this Pokemon, lead Aurora Veil, switch right into it, Quiver up, DD up, you win. We've seen it, right? We've seen how fragile certain people's cores can be. Sometimes it's just inevitable in the Pro Pokeball. You're going to have that one person that picks up one Pokemon, you're just like, yeah, I didn't ban that, or he got that. Damn. It's over, right? You just sometimes can't help and you feel bad, but at the same time, it's just, you hope you don't see that in the finals and have to worry about just getting 3-0'd right away in the playoffs by that particular team. But I do feel like once that whole first 7-8 turns, if he even leads with it, he might not lead with it, he might be able to stall out enough to wall break enough to then Alolan Ninetales comes in at the time when he knows he can sweep. That's another option. He doesn't have to just go all in Alolan Ninetales first send out. So if he can manage that, I think he's going to do really well here with offense. Does he want to switch out some Pokemon? I think he has room to switch out a couple of Pokemon. Some of them just seem like he picked them up for the sake of picking them up, and now he's seen the full bill. He can kind of look at this trade pool and go maybe Dodrio is an option, unless he wants that flying type. But again, he could train out something like Arceus for Swellow, which I think would get more value out of the Brave Bird or the Air Slash, rather than Arceus using it. Relying on Acrobatics. If it gets Acrobatics, cool, but there's a fair amount of priority in this tournament. I don't know if it's ever going to be able to use the Citrus Berry strat or the Iapapa Berry strat, whatever. There are options for him if he wants them, so.
Yeah.
And Cinccino still always exists if you want something like that. So I'm just saying. Just saying.
No, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it now.
Actually, you know what Pokemon would look good on this team, I think, if you wanted to go kind of those leads into leading it up? I think Excelgor could do some stuff here.
Oh, yeah. Wait, Excelgor didn't get picked up?
No, Excelgor didn't get picked up. He's got Spikes. He's also got Final Gambit, which I'm more or less staring at, because I think with this type of team, if you get that... I love Choice Scarf Final Gambit, by the way. I'm stupid. I love it because I literally just want a Pokemon that can instantly sack itself off to take something with it for the most part. But I do think for a team like this that needs to keep that momentum up, I think going 1-for-1 on a Pokemon that you do fear, if you get that in, or at least taking 1-for-1 out, could lead you into that kind of switch, like that easy... fainting switch to then start setting up if they don't call what Pokemon you're going to go into correctly. I think that's a good option. Maybe over Arceus? If he was to switch over that. I don't know, though. That's just the way that I'm thinking if he really wants to go in on the I have to be aggressive, that be aggressive chant that you heard back in high school or whatever. So...
Be aggressive.
No, that's for right ball.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, but yeah.
No, yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea, throwing Excelgor on there. I could fit with this team pretty well, I think. Just knowing Sharking's playstyle, I think that this team fits him really well, and I'm scared for everybody else that has to go against that. That's why I was getting a little heated with the Alolan Ninetales, because I've seen it happen before, and it hurts me. It hurts me a lot because I love that Pokemon and I love doing that to other people. I don't like it being done to me.
Alolan Ninetales is very similar to something like Mega Venusaur for me. I rarely build teams that manage it, or I just don't manage my resources around those Pokemon particularly well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's got a really solid team, and he's got a solid chance getting to playoffs at this, at the very least.
I
I
think,
think.
yeah, I think for the most part, his experience is gonna get him there. I don't. This
Exactly.
feels like one of those situations, and it's not meant to sound. Oh, this is not meant to sound like I'm favoring Sharking over other players, but
No,
with
no.
that history of knowing how much he's played and the amount of knowledge he has, and he's very good at looking at damage calcs and knowing what he needs to do and making the right switch. With him building his own team, I think he'll show more effectiveness rather than using somebody else's team, because he can kind of just, like, the fact he's able to pick up the scraps, which was built pretty well between you and Tim and Ox back in season 4. But if he could just take a team that he's actually built himself and knows exactly how he wants to play it out, and he's looking at other teams week by week and is responsible for making these plays for his own volition rather than for another team, I think experience alone will carry him to top 6, no problem. Really,
Oh, hands down.
I really do think there is a good potential for him to adapt as well and not worry about his bans too much. I think Volcarona is going to be a giant target for bans. That or Alolan Ninetales, if people start figuring out that, oh yeah, Alolan Ninetales is kind of difficult to break through if I don't have Brick Break or Defog or something like that. Now, having said that, that is a big thing to bring up. There are a lot of Defoggers in this that are not necessarily weak to Ice or Fairy, or you can bring in later as they're setting up. So I wouldn't be number one, like, oh my god, it's over sort of thing. But it doesn't mean, it doesn't take away from the strength that Alolan Ninetales can bring to this type of team. Or to any team, really.
Yeah.
It's OU for a particular reason, obviously.
No, yeah, I'm with you on that.
So, Gamma.
Yeah.
Let's play a fun game, because our coaches are very obsessed with this, and our viewers, they probably want to hear it. Gamma.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Who's winning?
Who's winning?
Just based on draft. Who's winning?
Oh.
Who's winning?
You can't.
I just
make
did.
me do that.
Yeah, I gotta answer it too.
You can't make me do that.
I like doing things that are out of people's reaches. Shout out to best of 614 battles. Who's winning? Tell me right now. Based on draft, not based on skill. Who's winning based on draft?
Based on draft?
Yes.
Based on draft, I would say Gamer.
Okay.
Yeah. If I had to pick on draft, if I had to pick on experience and draft, and maybe say Sharking.
Okay.
Yeah. Other than that, everybody else has really high chances of it. It's just like those are the two that pop out to me from those specific criteria. What about you, noob? Huh, Mister Drop this question on me last second without even giving me any warning.
Okay. Based on draft, I would say it's a very close call, but I would actually give it to Sweet D, to I Am Groot. I feel like he covers a lot of weaknesses that don't, like assuming that we're not even thinking about banning a Pokemon that will destroy you in that particular series. His team seems to cover the most bases and can answer the majority of the things. Okay. Based on experience and draft, ooh, I'm gonna give it. Ah, man, I keep flip flopping between this. I really keep flip flopping between this because I want to say it's also Sweet D, but I want to kind of give it to Mitchie because it's between Mitchie and Sweet D for me in terms of the teams that I'm looking at that kind of got their most value, and I think that Mitchie has the correct answers. If he plays around things that'll take out his Bulu or takes out his Latias respectively, I think he, like, if he is specifically building to win against Sweet D, I think he wins that one personally. I don't know how, but I feel like he does it just by. I feel like he has more flexibility with the way that he can actually use the Rotom Heat mixed with the Bulu, mixed with Mamoswine and stuff like that. I think Slowking will be a pain in the ass too to manage. As long as Bulu is out and not burned when Suicune is out, I feel like Mitchie wins that personally.
Okay.
Yeah. If I was to think about notables, I think Sharking is definitely noticeable. I think I also agree with Gamer's draft. I'm kind of digging, the more that I say it without even knowing the experience, I am kind of digging the flexibility of Soto Dude's team as well. I think it's a all-around decent team that can be improved over time with stuff. I'm not gonna say that team. That's really risky. I am gonna go with Miami Melodics. Just as another shout out, I think this is a team that can be played out quite well. The offense mixed with the somewhat defense, but really trying to keep that offensive pressure and just send to the defense when needed, and just kind of give your offense support through Wish or through more hazards. I think I give credit to Jillip. We'll have to see it when battles happen.
Yeah, no, we're gonna have to see next week on the Pro Pokeball.
Yep. So as the weeks come in, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be going over the bans done week by week after the fact. We'll also be going over the matchups, how the week went, and then we'll be going into the future matchups. We're not going to go into the matchups today. We're just going to kind of let it play out. We need to see what's going on and stuff like that. And then once we get into the meat and potatoes and no, not gravy. Let's go broccoli. Yeah, let's make it healthy.
Molasses, potatoes. No. Potatoes,
molasses,
and molasses.
Something,
potatoes and molasses. You don't know the song?
I know that song, but I don't think that's how it goes.
I'm pretty sure that's 100% exactly how it goes.
I'm pretty sure you're losing it. So, nonetheless, we'll be going over those matchups week by week as the Pro Pokeball goes on. And that will be those first battle weeks. First battle week will be next Wednesday, July 24th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time start. I'm ready for it. Well, we will have the match. Let's actually quickly shout out the matchups. Top Skyrim Howard versus I Am Groot. Manchester Manectric versus Golden State Greninjas. Miami Melodics versus the TC Thunderous. Ice Cold versus the LA Golden Lucarios, or Las Vegas Golden Lucarios. Fortnite Ninjas versus Sarasota Suicunes, which will actually be the featured matchup of the week, where viewers will be able to vote and bet Nubits to try and win their fair share of the pot, and Lunar Cresselia is enjoying their vacation at the beginning of a tournament. As every coach will get 1 week off, just because of the uneven number of coaches, which is not too bad. It gives him a decent advantage to see what's going on if he does care enough to take a look and kind of get a lay of the land for the experience, especially for someone who hasn't been in the tournament before, as Tyler Poke hasn't. This could be really good for him to kind of feel out and just go from there. We talked about Lunar Cresselias, right?
Yeah, we did.
No, we didn't. I don't remember seeing this team.
Wait, what?
We didn't talk about Lunar Cresselias. Oh, crap. Did I leave them out of the list? No.
Probably did.
Oh my god, I did skip over them. I knew it felt weird. No, holy crap. No, we didn't talk about this. Okay. That's okay. It's okay. Let's do it right now. Right now. It's okay. Let's do it right now. I'm so sorry. Wow. Because I was just scrolling through. I'm like, wait a minute. We didn't talk about the 2 mega weirdo one in Lunar Cresselias.
Wow, that's a great way to put it, Noob.
Okay. So sorry. Wow. Okay, Lunar Cresselias. Their pick order was 11th, 5th, 3rd, 6th, 2nd, 5th. So not, like, in good places, not so great places, kind of average. The team is Gligar, Tyrantrum, Sylveon, Seismitoad, Manectric, Miltank, Shaman, Pidgeot, Incineroar, Hitmonchan, Excadrill, and Electrode. Take your time, Gamma. We can spend the same amount of time.
No. I'm not gonna skip over this.
Okay, yeah, good. My bad.
No, yeah, you could totally cut this into like the middle of the thing, but you don't have to. All right.
You think I'm that good at editing?
Oh yeah, you're right. I forgot. I'm sorry. All right. Straight up, looking at this team, first thing that came to my mind is like, wow, this is a great VGC team. It's got some decent Pokemon. I see he went the route of not going all OU, which is something that I can appreciate as a Pokemon trainer person guy as well. I think he got some decent picks with Excadrill. Tyrantrum's pretty good in my opinion. Manectric is a pretty decent Mega. I could see him dropping that. Question: Shaman is just Shaman, not Skyform, is it?
It is just Shaman.
All right. Well, I'm not sure how I feel about the Shaman then, but Pidgeot's not a bad one either. Hitmonchan's good for coverage. Gligar is a good setup Pokemon. Drop those spikes. No, yeah, and Sylveon's not bad either. Sylveon is a good fairy type Pokemon. Other than that, it's a team that I definitely didn't expect for the meta here, but I think it can get pretty far personally, and I definitely want to see how far. You know,
This draft to me is very unique in a sense that there are some interesting decisions that were made in terms of the mega grabbing, because both Manectric and Pidgeot are kind of compared to their megas, right? So I find it strange that both of them have been picked up unless the assumption was one of them was going to get banned. Funnily enough, there's nothing that screams to me that is bannable right away unless you're afraid of it. So he's got that going for him in terms of the flexibility with what he can play around with. But it almost feels very just middle of the road. This was one of my, maybe, I don't want to say least impressive ones, but it's definitely one that doesn't scream to me as, in terms of, man, this is a strategy, or wow, this is like great value. Like, he picked us a very average value, which is fine if he can play it out well. And one of the positive things about this team is there's a lot of room to improve it. There are some Pokemon on here that perhaps maybe with some time constraints forced him into certain picks that maybe wasn't what he wanted per se. But I think there's a lot of opportunities over the weeks to come if he chooses to do this early, is to make a lot of changes to try and grab himself a little bit more useful value. If I could ever scream a team needs Cinccino more, it's this one, because he just, like, I feel like it just needs more power behind it. There's a lot of power between Sylveon, Tyrantrum, Sizetoad, Manectric, Shaman, Pidgeot. Like, it's all just, it just feels very average, right? That's fine. Nothing wrong with average. You could make it to top 6 with average. You could do well in the tournament with average. Do I think it's a championship team? Well, that depends on the play. But based on the counterparts that we could compare in terms of the grass type, in terms of the water type, in terms of all these other things, I don't think he wins out in terms of having, like, the fathers of these families of like, Gliscor, Gligar, Ferrothorn, Ferocity type of thing. I think this one will really depend on what gets banned will determine how the team looks. Because if people are afraid of Mega Pidgeot, that means that they can handle Mega Manectric. And vice versa. If they're afraid of Mega Manectric, they ban it, and then they deal with Mega Pidgeot. So I don't know. It's certainly got a lot of power to it. And I also think there is room to give better versions of these Pokemon to the team. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily it's not really a bad thing. It's more like a, hey, he could probably experiment with this and then try and find something that would do better than what he's doing. Like, for example, I don't find any value in Electrode at the moment. I think it does nothing for this team other than Volt Turn, or Volt Switch, which is okay, right? You always want that Volt Switch, and you can mix it with Gligar, I guess, and just go from there on Pidgeot.
There's a lot of ground type Pokemon here. I don't think Volt Switch is a solid move to throw on anyone.
And on top of that, Electrode is very much reliant on its electric attacks, right? It comes with Taunt, it comes with Explosion, but after that it gets Signal Beam, Hidden Power, Thunderbolt. It's nothing
Sonic Boom.
Doesn't
it get Sonic Boom?
It gets Sonic Boom, yeah. But if he doesn't find this works out, he could try and fill in the gaps of his team. He could try and grab something, for example, like if he wants to switch out that Electrode, this could be a Haunter pickup, right? There you go. Now you got a solid Choice Scarf for which could put down some pressure and give him some good dual stab that'll handle those Psychic and Grass and Poison and Fairy types that he might not. Yeah, he kind of fears that a bit, actually. I think he does, other than Excadrill. I think he does kind of fear Fairy a smidge here. He can crush a lot of them, though, I guess. But if he wants to, but what I'm saying is, like, that's the thing. He's got enough to handle and hold his own. And then if he takes more time and just kind of gives a tiny bit more star power, more focus, things to me, like, Hitmonchan is a spinner. Yeah, it's a spinner. He got really unfortunate with that, but he has Defog Gligar. So if he can work around defogging the hazards away when he's setting up his own rocks, he's got a couple of Stealth Rockers he could actually run on his team successfully if he wanted to. Excadrill with Miltank and Gligar can all do that. I think if Tyrantrum can, or Seismitoad can, but you don't want to really do that. But you could put some like Miltank Seismitoad is kind of cool with the Sap Sipper and the Water Absorb. It's kind of really funky how you can mess with people's minds like that. So That's
Gotta
a
have those
neat little
mind games.
synergy. What's that?
Gotta have those mind games.
Gotta have those mind games. So he's got stuff going for it, and I think there's room to fix it up. I'd hate to say it, but I just, maybe Incineroar is actually pretty good on this team in particular. I don't know. Maybe if you got a little creative and went something like Sylveon out for Entei, and then Incineroar came in for, because I think Entei would just do better than the Incineroar, and then he could probably bring in maybe Comfey, actually, or Mega Audino. That could be another option if you want. I don't think so, but like you can get creative like that. You know what I mean? I think there's room to get creative with this team.
Yeah, he's got options.
Yeah, I think this is more or less he chose Pokemon that he knows. Like, these Pokemon are out there, but that means that he may have an idea on, well, I know these Pokemon, so I'm going to play said Pokemon, and that's how I'm going to roll. And that's acceptable, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So that's my final thoughts on the final team, which I completely skipped over. I'm so sorry.
It's all Noob's fault.
It is my fault. I read wrong.
Didn't notice.
I got so excited about talking about El Villano in the ProPokePoll.
Oh my god.
Oh well.
What? Yeah. No.
That'll be the end. That's a great way to just sit there and go awkward silence into. That will be the end of the podcast. Thank you very much.
We forgot a team, and then a good 10 seconds of silence.
The worst part is he's the team that's off on week 1. So if people are just going off the podcast, they're like, I'm gonna go check out the stream to go watch this guy, and it comes in week 2. Who the hell is that? Did he buy his way in? The answer is yes. Yes, he did. I'm very easy to pay off, ladies and gentlemen. Don't you worry. No, I'm kidding. I'm the soccer referee that did not get paid off. I actually got offered that one. Someone was trying to pay me off as a referee, and I go, you can pay me off by not being a jackass and just actually playing the game. Thanks, bye.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Amazing. Oh yeah, it happens.
Yeah, people are dumb. But you know who's not dumb? All of these coaches here who took their time and did pretty good drafts all around. And I can't wait to see what they do in the next session of the ProPokeBowl of BAM.
Man, what a hype squad. Gamma, if there is no other person who roots for a team, they already know they've got your +1, no matter what team it is.
Oh yeah, no, I'm hopeful for everybody.
He's got his pom-poms out.
Has a good chance.
I think skill will matter quite a bit here. There are some drafts that definitely won out versus other drafts in terms of just value of the rules of their team, but I also don't feel like with the changes to the trades, with the changes to everything that we've looked at, this could be a very competitive season. Also helps that the pools were pretty stacked. And that was just random. It happened, right? The pools just got randomly super jacked. And all of a sudden now everybody's got something good in their pockets. Just who can make the most out of what's in their pockets.
Exactly.
Nonetheless, now concludes Season 5 draft conversations between myself and Amagamma. Amagamma, give the people your plugs.
Oh boy. All right. Well, first plug is the Team Pocket Aces YouTube, which me and Noob are both part of. I do a decent amount of the editing, along with our other friend Boss. We both work very hard. I have my own Twitch that I stream on every once in a while, twitch.tv/Amagamma, AMAGAMMA. Same thing on Twitter, @Amagamma. Feel free to follow me on there, and I hope to see you guys next week at the ProPokeBowl.
Like we said, Week 1 battles start July 24th. The order will be released on social media so you guys can see what order the battles will be happening. Our feature matchup will be Fortnite Ninjas versus Sarasota Suicunes. We hope to see you there. Thank you very much for joining us for the ProPokePodcast. Until next week, take care, everybody, and peace.
See ya.
Hot dogs.